Hello, hello. Good morning. I did in fact go and grab a drink. I'm back. Hello, everyone. Hello. Guten Morgen, everyone. How is everyone doing? Today is Thursday. Hi, Peter. Hi, Dale. Hi, Dallas. Let me just finish sharing the Blue Sky post, and then I'll chat with you. Okay, we'll do the pre-shows we normally do. Okay, hi there. Come on in. Grab a seat. Okay. Oh, it is exactly 11 a.m. Hi, Werewolf. Today on the task list. Check mark. Gameplay loop. Now, you know what? Forget about all that. Just, Maxi, make a simpler going live post, okay? Here we go. Oh, hi, Prism. Hello.
Welcome back.
I'm live right now, designing my creature collecting TTRPG. That's it. Get in there. You know, just put a finger pointing towards the link. There we go. People love the finger. Excuse me, Maxi. What did you mean by that? What did Maxi mean by that? There we go. And then, hi, Erasmo. Hello, welcome in.
Welcome back.
And the hashtags for this are TTRPG, Sadamon / live now. There we go. Sending it. How am I doing today? Asks Erasmo. I'm doing pretty good. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The sun, the prodigal sun, my wonderful little gray-haired boy wants to come in. Let me open the door for him, and I'll be right back, okay? And then we'll begin the show proper. Alright, fellas, I have bad news and I have good news, okay? Bad news. Turns out Yanto was already in the room. He wanted out of the room. Good news, though. We're live. Hello, everyone. It's me, Maxi, your navigator in the wonderful, wonderful wild world of designing a tabletop role-playing game. Hello there. Hi, Siska. Hello, hello. And there's the music. Perfect. We're back. All right. So, how y'all doing today? Maxi, what's the matter, Maxi? So I may or may not have not been ready for streaming today, but it's fine. I'm doing it. We're doing it. I'm here. I'm sitting down. Let me double check that everything is in fact correct. We are live. Everything appears on. Nothing is on fire yet. Okay, I do have to skip this song though. This is Corridors of Time from Chrono Trigger, as remixed by the incredible Lo-Fi Leah. That song is a little bit too much for me. Let's do File Select from Sonic 3 and Knuckles instead. Much better. So welcome, hello there. Oh my god, it's Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. Hey, boy.
Hey, boy.
There we go. So, welcome to Design Hours, Creative Hours, the segment of the stream where I work on my creative projects live on stream. Today, we'll be continuing work on Sadamon, my Pokemon Digimon Cassette Beasts, Monster Collecting, not you, Monster Rancher, inspired tabletop role-playing game. This thumbnail came out so good, by the way. I am so happy with this thumbnail. I made myself so chunky, look. I'm legitimately thinking this might just be the art style for the game. Like, straight up. Ronnie says Maxi. Yes, Maxi? Yes, Ronnie? Getting my names mixed up. Who am I? Well, Ronnie and I share, like, share a lot of like thematical elements. You know, Ronnie's highlight color is red, mine is green, but we both have black hair. Ronnie's very pale though, and I'm not pale. Cool thumbnail, by the way. Thank you, Dallas. Ronnie says, can you make a Crypticmon? Oh, slaps hood of this game. Oh, this game can fit so many Crypticmons. In fact, Ronnie, you could make your own Crypticmons. Yeah. By the way, this thumbnail is very much in the style of the previous thumbnail that I did. Definitely using more black for sure. Definitely more contrast is good. Am I gonna reuse this art piece for literally in the book? Perhaps. I might consider doing that. Mothman lives. Peter says, Matt, man, I'm so excited to play this when it's ready, LOL. I am too. One of the fun things about designing games is that ultimately I'm making games that I would like to play myself. That's why I'm making a lot of design decisions that may seem... Some people may disagree with those design decisions, and that is because we would be making different games. And that's what makes game design so much fun. Much like storytelling, everyone tackles their problems differently. This is particularly... Oh, here we go. Soapbox ready. Soapbox ready. This is why... Like... People, when they're getting first started with writing fiction or creating anything, they fall into the pitfall of wondering, well, why should I tell this story or make this thing if someone has already made a thing that might be like it? If I'm not original, why should I bother making art? And the reality is that you making the art yourself makes it unique. The process of creating any kind of art is a collection of thousands upon thousands of micro decisions that all average out to what you could define as your style. All of the micro decisions that lead to me releasing a game are the amalgamation, the summation, the apex, what could say, the precipice of the way that I create games and make stories. So, you know, I would love to see how someone else would tackle making a game like this. Just to see how we're all different. Ronnie says, I am not very pale. Damn, Maxi, I think you sought to convince me to get back to creating stuff. You should. We need more art in this world. Also, making art is just fun. We were literally talking about this on Nomia's stream. No. It was on this stream, wasn't it? No. It was Nomia's stream. It was Nomia's stream. It was Aegis Rim, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, also known as the Yakisoba Pan Show. The Yakisoba Pan Show. It was on Monday. My Monday. Nomiya brought up the topic of reading fanfiction. And I said, I have nothing against fanfiction, by the way, but I don't really feel the need to write fanfiction because if I want to see characters that I enjoy in situations that were not present in their canon, I would just like write it and then change the names.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, so like that's how I relieve that particular need. Yeah, you know, the hierarchy of needs. You know, donuts, coffee, fanfiction. Hi, hi, Star/Sapphire. Hello. Welcome in. I'm going to work on my own art in the background or my kitty TTRPG. Either one, honestly. Hell yeah! Have fun. Wishing you the best. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Siska says, you mean today when Nomiya had a bad opinion and then cried and then pooped themselves? It's so true. Fanfiction versus self-actualization in this model? We'll get there. So, what is the plan for today? In case you don't know, in case you're new, in case you're watching the VOD for the first time, in case you thought the thumbnail looked cool and you thought you would click on this video, hi. The name is Maxi. My pronouns are they, them. I am a creator, author, artist of sorts, and I also create tabletop role-playing games. Particularly solo tabletop role-playing games that you can play entirely by yourself. Hans is absolutely correct. That was from yesterday's Chronomia Trigger stream, actually, not Aegis Rim. Nonetheless, And yes, Nomiya has bad opinions on Pokemon, and that's okay. I respect them for that. I don't respect them. No, everyone is allowed to have their own bad opinions, especially if we stream together. You're allowed to have bad opinions. If you don't stream together, you're not allowed. I'm sorry. I know this may seem bad and rough and unfortunate, but it's time for you to die. For having, please everyone take D6 damage, by the way. Rip any rogues who high roll, by the way. No worries, Dallas. And now I am a rogue / thief in the chat, so I guess I'll hit myself. I'm probably dead now. I'm back. All right. You know what? Thank God we had diamonds laying around. Old school D&D rules, Maxi. We'll get to old school D&D rules in today's conversation. But nonetheless, my current project, CC, I'm bringing it back. The current project that I'm working on is a little thing I'm calling Satamon. Siska says, Maxi, before I let you go, yeah, Siska, what's up? I'm working on a tabletop roleplay game version of games like Monster Rancher, Lamau, Digimon World, Pokemon, where you collect little creature guys. Level up your Omni. It's in my list of things to do. That's right, I put it on the board. Let me just, definitely not afraid of anything. Let me just really quickly open Discord and make sure that there is no, I believe we're skipping May. Let me double check, because it would be really funny if we had D&D this weekend. Let me double check. I do, in fact. It's on my list of things to level up. Okay, everyone agrees it could happen as soon as this Saturday. Alright, well, I will make sure to level up Omni before that. You know what? What if I uncheck? There you go. I don't know if I could do... Oh, we're not doing May. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, in scheduling it doesn't say that. From Bandori, Omni from Bandori. Is there an Omni character? Anywho, I know you would probably want to see the visage of little dot matrix monochrome Maxi, but we gotta move on. Yukina. Oh, I love Yukina. Oh, why does Yukina have so many Sangles? Scream Dale. Oh man, well, it's because she's popular. Isn't Yukina... Yukina is from Roselia, right? That's right, I'm bringing it back to Pokemans. Fun fact, fun little Pokemon story before we get started, by the way. When I played Gen 3, I didn't know if I wanted to get base Ruby, Sapphire, or get Emerald. And I thought, well, Emerald just came out, I'll get Emerald. And I was hoping that I would get to play with one of the cool new Pokemans that was in that game, that I'm like, dude, this Roselia Pokemon, please hold your laughter, by the way, this Roselia Pokemon looks cool. I can't wait to catch it in Pokemon Emerald. Roselia is not available in Pokemon Emerald. Yep. So that's my life. So I've never actually had a Roselia, and then in Generation 4 they gave it an evolution into a Roserade, and then I was legitimately like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this thing? I don't know if I like Roserade, I'm not gonna lie. Emerald is still really good though. Gotta be social, Pokemon. Yeah, I wasn't social back then. We didn't have social media. There literally was no concept as being social back then. We didn't have Twitter. It's crazy. Now, allow me to clear my throat, and then we'll begin with the designing of the game today. You ever go to clear your throat and then your whole body is like, actually, I also need to sneeze and readjust my glasses and fix my hair and my headphones? You would think that that's the kind of attitude that someone has when they're procrastinating starting work. Not me, baby. All right, we're jumping right in. Welcome to the world of Satamon. So as you can no doubt surmise, I have done a little bit of organizing of the documents. One of the things that I like about Google Docs and there aren't a lot of them. Particularly, there's a button over here that I would very much like for it to never exist. But nonetheless, I like Google Docs partially because it has the tab system where you can basically organize documents within the document. So originally, when I used to design, or before I found out about this feature, or before it was implemented, I would basically have a folder in Google Drive of nothing but just documents, and it would be really disorganized and kind of a mess. And now, literally all of my Sadamon documents are in one place. Boom. It's all here, including the very first documents, including, my little personal check-ins, and I'm now adding a thing for references. Oh my god. We have it's good, man. Being organized, it's the way to go. It's the way to go, okay? Take it from me. Being organized is better than being disorganized. Anyway, so we even have a subfolder for today. Today we'll be working on 2 specific things. The goal of today's stream is as follows. Wouldn't it be the goals, Maxi, of today's stream? Greek letters, let's go. I mean, it is called Sadamon. Yeah, and I'm thinking of using Greek letters for specific functions. Particularly, they gone. They're here. Hans, are you in the past, Hans? How far in the past are you, Hans? They're here. They will be here. We will use them. But nonetheless, the goals of today's session are, I want to talk about the gameplay loop, decide on the gameplay loop, a bunch of, that makes more sense. Hans says, I take some time to write. It's good to take your time. So I want to talk about the gameplay loop. A bunch of things have changed since the last time we talked, and I know that it feels like I say that every goddamn time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the one thing that I want to get inside your thick skulls today, chat. No, is the one thing about being a singular person game designer, a they them singular gameplay designer, is that you don't have a big old committee to decide. You have to basically come up with all the answers yourself, and you're basically, at least for my design process, I'm designing as I go, figuring out exactly what kind of game I want to make. And there were some design decisions that I made in the past that have changed. So if you were holding your Kirin stream bingo table and waiting for the box, the square that says Kirin goes back on a decision they went back on before, get ready to pull out your markers and circle that baby, because let's just say that special defense may or may not be back in, boys. That's right. Let me hit them, yeah. That's actually the special defense guitar riff is coming in. The physical special split is back, baby. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Also, I think I've come up with an interesting mechanic for dealing with tracking initiative, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So I want to talk about decide and design elements of the gameplay loop. I feel like the concept of the game that I had originally has shifted a little bit from the original concept. Oh my god, Hans. And I kind of want to reanalyze the big scope. I want to zoom out. One of the problems, and this can definitely happen, when you're designing a game and you are thinking about what you want it to be, and you start coming up with new ideas that you want to add, it can lead to feature creep, creature freak, as I like to call it, creature freak, where you essentially keep adding new features, and you basically get lost in the sauce. You forget about what game you were trying to make. You completely get lost. I'm just spin for a second to give you a mental image of what it feels like or looks like to develop a game over the course of time. And I feel like it's good and based to stop for half an hour on stream, review where we want to go, how far we have come, and how far we have what, and how far and what changes we want to make to the design. The other thing, of course, is that we're going back to keep working on creature creation. We're gonna keep working on that. There again, as I mentioned, there are a couple of gameplay changes that have happened. I believe that I had. We don't have to super worry about that. Essentially, Bright's here. Hi, Bright. Hello, Bright. How you doing?
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Bright says, Scooby-Doo creature creep. This time the monsters are real. Hello, Bright. How you doing? We're gonna begin by zooming out, of course. So let's dive over to the sub document. Oh, I have some notes that I want to re-revise, but nonetheless. So, welcome to the world of Satamon. So, Satamon, the way that I was previously envisioning Satamon, I was envisioning it as a game with small pockets of humanity, and then large swaths of nature. So the player would essentially have their time broken between spending time in nature and in civilization. You would kind of go back and forth between those two states, right? So you would have features such as the ability to adapt moves or train new moves to your Satamon. All of that would be happening, in the cities, because you would not normally have the room or the dojos to train and practice with your Satamon. In the wilderness, finding Satamon would also happen, in the wilderness. And while this original idea kind of worked, it did have one unforeseen side effect, and that particular side effect is that DSM is happening again. So although camera, zoom me in for this one. Although I very much enjoyed what I created with DSM, I recognize that DSM is very much a mechanics first game, and it lacks a lot of space for role playing. And as soon as I basically framed this as the biggest problem with DSM, I understood what I had to change in DSM, and those changes will still be coming in time. But nonetheless, I don't want to get to the point where we have a problem I have to fix with Satamon, with a game that I haven't released yet. Everyone, shut the hell up. Kate's here. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. Wait, hold up. There we go. Hi, Kate.
Hey, boy.
How you doing, friendo? We're talking game design. Hell yeah. Kate says, I was gonna come in with the front-facing pointing emoji and saying gay, but they don't have that, I guess. Oh my gosh. Kate is back, baby. Oh no, Kate. Kate says, guess who went to the store, forgore their wallet, then gave up and went back home and took an hour plus nap? Dude, an hour plus nap would fix me, 100%. Welcome back, by the way, to my favorite segment of them all. Has Max gotten any sleep lately? No! Thank you for joining me for the episode of Has Max Gotten Any Sleep? We'll catch up next stream and see if I've gotten any sleep, since then. Literally the last 3 nights, no sleep. I just can't sleep. Han says, oh yeah, the baseball arm pointing thing would kind of work, actually. Yo, let's go, Kate. Oh my god, I'm so happy for you. Kate's surgery consultation is happening tomorrow. Oh, and did Maxi wake up? Hey, Maxi woke up. Hey, Maxi. There we go. So, as I was saying, originally I had a hard division in the concept of for the world of Satamon. I had a hard division between you're in the wilderness, collecting and discovering new Satamon, and you're in civilization, essentially just healing up, catching up with your fellow humans, humanoids, and then going back to the wilderness. And I realized that this essentially hard coding of what you do in what location it made for a fine gameplay loop, but it kind of it solidified the gameplay loop a little bit too hard, removing the option for someone to just tell a story in the world of Sadamon. So and this also I was reminded of this in part because of Dallas, by the way. Shoutouts to Dallas for asking me yesterday, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, about the roleplay resolution mechanism. I had one in my back pocket, as I like to keep one. But in thinking about that resolutions process, yo, hi Fade Leaf, hello. How you doing, Fade Leaf? Welcome in. Let me hit you with one of these.
I've been waiting for this.
Kate says, I'll be spamming you all with stuff about the fundraiser. Oh, don't you worry about that. Dude, what if I do a stream to raise money for Kate's surgery, huh? What if I did that, huh? What if I did some sort of Pokemon related stream and I raised money for Kate? What if I... Computer. Write this down, computer. Pokemans for Cade. Cademans. Pokecades. Anyways. I'm gonna think about that. So in thinking about the resolution system, I want it to be relatively simple. There's quite a few interlocking mechanisms that have recently changed. I guess I can tell you about one of them. Originally, I was gonna have a whole system for, as you generated a Sadamon, they would gain traits that I was calling sharp, blunt, pierce to represent what kind of identity their attacks have. And looking at the amount of work that I would have to do, I realized that I would basically have to make 3 additional lists of moves, which last time I checked, adding 3 more lists seems like an awful lot of work. So I decided instead to adapt that feel, because I definitely still like the idea of your Sadamons. See you later, werewolf. By the way, Hans, Kate streams on Twitch. That being said, when I do a fundraiser for Kate, it will be on YouTube, because I'm not gonna start streaming on Twitch just because. I like it over here on YouTube. And no shade to the Twitch streamers. I'm just happy. I just like it here. Bro, I just like it here. You know what I feel I need? I feel like I need a camera angle of me further away. A lot of my camera angles is me, regular distance, close, and then closer, too close. And then there's me over here. I feel like I need an angle where it's me like really far back, Me in the distance, maybe add an echo to imply that I'm really far away. Nonetheless, so I think what I'm gonna do is that you How dare you, Bright? Also, I swear to God, I think I hear Yanto in the background wanting to get into the room, and I'm like, buddy, you wanted out of here 28 minutes ago. Anyways, so I think instead of having additional list of moves, whether your Sadamon has claws, or it bites, or it has boxing gloves, it's Winnie's frog character whose name escapes me. Instead, your Sadamon will still gain those traits, but they will be keywords that affect moves. I feel like Ribby, thank you, kid. I feel like that's probably the way to go. Just have them be an additional mechanical aspect as opposed to an entire family of moves that I have to make. Keywords, I do love keywords. Now, I'm gonna be quiet for a second. I'm gonna listen for my boy. Does Yanto want to come in? Okay, he did not scratch. I don't think he wants to come in. I think he's hungry. You know what? Let me actually get ahead of the curveball, and I'm gonna give him one portion, by the way. Anyone out there who's like, I have my bingo table that says Maxi feats Yanto live on stream? Yep. Kate says, I missed y'all, friendos. Kate, we missed you too, friendo. There you go. I hear the machine going off in the kitchen. There we go. That'll take care of that bozo. The bozo is my son, by the way. Peter says, not gonna lie, the keywords kind of remind you of Inscription in a good way. Ooh, let's see. Is it possible that I wrote the link incorrectly? It is entirely possible that I typed the link incorrectly. The link tree works. And the links work for me, Hans. Oh, is the, the Twitch! The Twitch.tv. Oh, that's it. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. I do strongly suggest that you follow Kate on Twitch, by the way. Bozo, Bozo the son, full of goals. He's a good boy. Ronnie says, Maxi, haven't updated mine. No, I have not. Alright, computer. Let me make a note. I'm gonna make a physical note of this. I have my real physical okay. Up. You know, wait. What am I doing? Why am I making a note to update Ronnie's link when I literally could just update it right here, right now, live on stream? Why make this work for later when I can just do work now? Just do work now, Maxi. Neo command under the category butts, and it's Ronnie, aka Moontomes. The triggers for that is Ronnie. It's actually just Moontomes, comma. I think Moontomes is probably good enough. I thought you had it open. Both of you to assume that I had it open. The commands let me open Kate's command, so I can just literally copy and paste it. Please add computer, add a Discord action. I don't actually need the Discord action. I just have to copy and paste this over here. Delete you, close you. Now the chat message is gonna say, have this link right here, boop, and Ronnie, aka Moontomes, is a cool little guy. Is a cool little guy. Yeehaw! There you go. I will make a better one later, okay? For now, there you go. Maxi, why are you identifying Ronnie as a cowboy GN? It's because Ronnie's been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption. So if I do exclamation mark Moontomes, that's all you need to know about me, says Ronnie. There we go. I fixed it. Look, I did it. Wait, actually, both Nightbot and Tamaxi are arguing to see who gets to send the link, huh? Not for long. Nightbot's about to get shot, by the way. Go to commands. Find Ronnie. Guess I type Moon Times, by the way. Me when Ronnie changes job to Time Mage, Moon Times. Me when I move to a different time zone, and it turns out that I'm on freaking UTC -69, also known as moon time. Get him. So, the gameplay loop originally, the gameplay loop in Sadamon was city. You know, give me the repeat. Give me the repeat emoji. There you go. City, wilderness. Where in the city, the player trained Sadamon to modify their moves, and in the wilderness, they surveyed / discovered new Sadamon. This, as I mentioned before, has the unfortunate issue that it makes these things a little bit too hard coded, which is absolutely like poison for allowing people to tell their own story. Like, what if you envision something happening in the wilderness and you think there's a great chance for one of my Satamon to retrain a move? You know, clearly I should encourage you to tell those stories and to have those stories. So a couple other things have changed. For instance, the way in which apparently the way that I was envisioning the creation of Satamon was a little bit more involved. Originally, I was picturing something more like Pokemon Snap, where you would like little by little discover Satamon. You would like generate them one step at a time. I feel like we had a big ol' like creation process, and let me tell you, it was just too much. I realized, as the person designing this damn thing, that I wouldn't want to play with this system. I wouldn't want to like go through all this work. And then I realized, like, you know, as people were offering feedback and asking questions, I realized that, you know, the hurdle between I want to just go and encounter a new guy in the grass and actually having to generate the guy in the grass with your own dice and imagination was a little bit too great. There was a lot of friction there. And sometimes friction is good. Sometimes friction makes players have an emotional reaction. That's perfectly fine. That is not what I wanted for this game. I want to emulate those kinds of games. And it's not just Pokemon, by the way. Welcome back to the segment of the stream where I talk about whatever game I'm playing. That's right. I'm still playing Yokai Watch 1 for the 3DS. The game actually holds up really well, by the way. Welcome back, segment. Thank you. I've been playing a lot of Yokai Watch because first off, it's a game that I've picked up like 9 times over the course of the last like 10 years, and every time I tell myself I'm gonna really get deep into it, and every time apparently I don't. I am now the deepest that I thought I've ever been, and then I looked at the cartridge, and the cartridge had a save file from 2016. Yeah, 2016 Maxi apparently got 7 hours into the game. I'm only 4 hours in, so you know, the really funny thing is that like I'm playing Yokai Watch, right? And I'm actually advancing the story, a thing that I never freaking do, and I'm doing things in the game, and I'm like, I have no recollection of this ever happening. Clearly, it must be a new content. And then I look at the save file, and somehow, Max from 2016 got 7 hours in. There's 3 more hours of content, none of which I remember. Peter says, I gotta play Yokai Watch one day. I'm a bit afraid it has those trading mechanics like Pokemon. It doesn't, by the way. It doesn't. The second game does things differently, but you know, it is very weird. It is formatted like an anime, so there's episodes. The creatures are weird. The combat is completely different. I like how different it is. That is particularly the thing that I'm enjoying. You may be asking, well, Maxi, if you're making a Pokemon like TTRPG, you would want to be playing a lot of Pokemon. And the reality is that I've played a bit of Pokemon, but I know what Pokemon is. I want to find the weirdness around the creature collecting genre. Also nice to see that we're entering Maxi's time travel arc. Present Maxi versus past Maxi. Oh, it's been a recurring gag. Shoutouts to DSM. Shoutouts to DSM, by the way. Where the Max who designed the game left the designing of all the mech parts for later Maxi, and then present Maxi became Future Maxi, and then Future Maxi was like, oh crap, I gotta design everything in one sitting, huh? The day before everything's due, huh? And then I did it because I am a wild, silly person. Also, warning, it's time for you to get up. We've been working for 25 minutes already. Tale as old as time. Travel. Present Maxi is a human engine of the sign. It's true. And then me later on, man. Past Maxi was a doofus. Anyways, fellas, I'm gonna get up and stretch, and I encourage you to do the same. Alright, headphones come off. I'm up on my feet. I'm shifting the microphone up. I don't particularly care if the tracking is broken. It's fine. Ugh. Okay. Stretching me legs. Drawing little circles with my hips, the way that Chippy taught me how. Gotta work on those hips, man. No one ever stretches their hips. There we go. Okay. I do realize that if I want to maybe tell you more about the gameplay loop, I should probably talk about the roleplay resolution mechanism. And it's actually a really simple one. So the way that I envision the roleplay mechanism, and again, I want it to be really simple, because ultimately the stories that are told in games like, yo, Rudy's here. Hi, Rudy. How you doing? Welcome in. All right, back to work. So the kind of stories that you see in a game like Pokemon is they're relatively simple stories. Even the questlines are particularly simple. So I kind of want a generally simple resolution mechanism, because most of the time you're gonna solve problems by fighting with your Satamon. Whether you are fighting against wild Satamon, resolving a conflict with Satamon, or simply just fighting other trainers with Satamon, you're gonna basically be engaging in the combat system as the main mechanism. To answer Hans' question, we did not play the DLC for Elden Ring. It was out, but we did not play it. Oh, by the way, fun fact, before I forget, next Thursday, I'm beginning my journey with my good friend Siska and Plaguesworth. We're going to be doing Dark Souls 3 Seamless Co-op. That's right, I didn't draw myself with a bag on my head. I'm cosplaying actually as Grey Rat, my favorite character from Dark Souls 3. To whom nothing bad ever happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you know what? I'm gonna show you the little Fugis, by the way, because I'm really proud with how they came out. So first off, of course, you have myself. Let me go grab myself. This is me when I'm not talking. And this is me when I'm talking. Now we have Plague. Plague no talking. Plague was like, I'm gonna play a wizard, so just draw me like I'm Gandalf. And I'm like, you got it, buddy. And then Plague when he do be talking. And last but by no means least, my favorite of them all is Siska. Siska, who has black hair now. This is Siska no talking, followed by Siska talking. Han says, Plague looks like Hobo Gandalf, and I'm like, you're not wrong. And I do look like I'm a trash bag Pokemon. That's perfectly fine. What songs can you sing those to? Oh my gosh. I mean, like, I'm okay with playing Dark Souls 3. I never beat it, so I'm excited to experience it with my friends. It's also a much more linear game, which I kind of I'm happy for, mostly because Elden Ring was fun, but it was also, I very much felt like I was a tourist in a city that I've never been to, in a country that I will never again visit. I do want to play Elden Ring more, but it really felt like I was like, we're in a country I'm never gonna visit ever again, and it's just a flurry of like emotions and feelings. Kendra says in all caps, and I quote, "Oh, you are sharp here." Me, when I'm in a map of the musical styles throughout the world. That's a little musical joke, you might not get it. Hey Kendra, how you doing, boy?
Hey, boy.
Peter asked early, I'm kind of curious if you will be able to have big Satamon to battle such as bosses. I think we could probably do something like that. I mean, like, okay, so let's be honest. there are going to be legendary Satamon. There are going to be Satamon that have unique abilities to them. I think I am going to steal my own idea that I had in Monster Blade, my Monster Hunter inspired TTRPG. Instead of elder dragons, the word that I used to describe the most powerful monsters in that setting was godlikes. And I think we can have godlikes be the final tier of Satamon. Siska says, Dark Souls 3 is my second favorite Souls game, which has 3 of my least favorite fights. Honestly, I know Plague's gonna have fun as soon as he meets Bort. Like, there's literally a character in Dark Souls 3 called Bort. And he's shaped like a Plaguesworth character. So everything will be fine. We'll have fun. And then there's also the fight in Dark Souls 3 where it's just 2 brothers. And I'm like, dude. Plague and I were 2 siblings. We'll get it. We'll get it. Blake's gonna have fun as soon as he sees Grundir. I mean, there's also Judex Gundyr. He's fun. Anyways, so what is the basic dice resolution system? What is the basic dice roleplay resolution system? By the way, get ready because I'm about to hit you with a little tidbit. They're gonna be like, holy crap. Maxi really found a way to make HM moves be like a thing. Anyways, we'll get there. The basic resolution system in Satamon is quite simple, okay? You roll a die against a static difficulty number. At this moment, that number is something like incredibly simple. We'll get closest to what that number is eventually, but you know, if you're playing as a human, which is what humans are called in the setting, if you're playing as a human and you're rolling against a Satamon, if for instance trying to catch a little Satamon or something, you roll a d4. The target number is probably 4, by the way. That's because human in the setting are weak and frail. We're smart and we can talk. But literally, like, if we're doing anything other than communication, we suck. Human roll a d6 when talking. Like, if you're literally communicating and trying to like convince someone of something or whatever, if you're talking and communicating, d6 baby, easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you're doing anything against a Satamon, d4, 100% d4. Now, as to how your Satamon work, Satamon have a dice that they roll for everything. And you know, I believe at stage one have a d6 as their basic dice, stage 2 are d8, etc. Yeah, convince the silverback gorilla not to rip your 99 allies apart. There you go. Yeah, power of friendship, etc. Now, your Satamon, if your Satamon has a keyword, let me just put it here. If your Satamon has a keyword that would help in this situation, you add that many keyword value, keyword X, of dice to your dice pool. So for instance, and get ready for this, okay? If you are traversing the wilderness and you stumble upon some foliage that needs to be cleared up in order for you to get through, if perchance you have to cut that bush in order to get there, you must cut that bush to get there. You may perchance use a Satamon with the sharp keyword, and of course, you can stack keywords. During Satamon creation, you might have a Satamon that is nothing but blades, like a Scyther. You know, a Scyther would definitely have, for instance, 3 sharp, which means that you add 3 additional dice when rolling. I think Max is trying to tell us something. Cut to the chase, Hans. But Maxi, blades are for skating. Dude. Maxi, you have to embrace the bush. I knew someone was going to say that. I knew someone was gonna be like, but what if Maxi wasn't talking about greenery? Fellas, I don't think Maxi's talking about landscaping. I mean, a kind of landscaping. Different kind of blade. Dude! What would be Blade's team? It would only be vampiric style Pokemon. Perhaps Leech Life users. So, if the target number is, 4 per chance, you would roll, the basic D6, and then this additional D6s. Not everyone will have 3 sharp, by the way. I want to make that very clear. Only freaks of nature who rolled sharp on all of their creature creation rolls would probably end up at 3 sharp. Again, rare. But this, of course, keeps going back to one of my favorite elements, one of my favorite bits about this game. And that is that Sadamon biology. Biology dictates their mechanics. As I mentioned before, Sadamon who roll high body have more HP and are better at using moves that require on their whole body, like a tackle, a slam, a lariat, a suplex. Those Sadamon, it makes sense. They have powerful bodies. They should have those features. Likewise, Sadamon with a bunch of arms should be able to probably punch you more than a Machop can punch you, but a Machamp can punch you, In fact, he can punch you 1,000 times per second. Anyways, moving on. So this right here is one of my key game design ethos for this game. The biology of the Sadamon should dictate their abilities in battle. And I particularly like this because it is a part of the fantasy of Pokemons and Digimon. Not you, Monster Rancher. That is kind of like it gets lost in the sauce. Like, there is no reason why Sunflora should be the weakest Pokemon of all time. And I know before you start telling me, Maxi, actually it's a sunflower, Maxi. Sunflowers are not known for being tough. Yeah, Oddish is a goddamn, tuber. Oddish is a goddamn beat. And it's not weak. Why did they have to do my girl Sunflora so dirty, okay? I love biology, but will we get Sadamon psychology? Dude, deep. I did mention before in the design streams that one of the particular things that I've never been super happy with is how it's the wide range of sapience within Pokemons. You have Pokemon who are essentially not even sapient, not even sentient, if you want to think about it like that. Do they even have senses? I don't even know, right? But then you have some Pokemons that are essentially just as smart, if not smarter, than people. And it makes the relationship between you training them and guiding them around a little bit it makes it feel a little bit weird, and it asks questions that I don't want to ask or talk about. I want to talk to my razor sharp monsters about their traumas. So Sadamon will be able to communicate with you, but only in single words. I feel like that's one way to make the role playing easier, and 2, still keep it interesting. And it's not because they only talk in single words. The Sadamon speak in grunts and growls and meows or whatever sound they make. But it's because you are a human, the communication Sadamon. That's right, humans are in fact Sadamon in the setting. You are the communication Sadamon. It is your ability, your unique feature, to be able to comprehend and empathize with others. So it is your ability to communicate that allows you to understand what the Sadamon say as single words. So you could ask, you could legitimately ask your Sadamon, what its past was like. and perhaps your Satamon will say happy. Maybe it might say danger. It might say sad. It might say cold. Maybe it lived in a cold climate. And I feel like leaving it at one word gives the player a lot of room to envision and use their imagination to fill in the blanks. Kate said, being able to capture Mewtwo in a Pokeball feels weird. It really does. Oh, really? Dale says the blades are for skating comes from a vine. Yeah, Kate is here. Yeah, like I will say. So Rudy said in chat, the whole thing about Arceus, the Pokemon god, being able to get caught in a ball is kind of weird. I think Legends Arceus or Arceus kind of like saves it a little bit. He definitely talked about it in a much more effective way than I was expecting from a Pokemon game. I don't know. Maybe I won't tell you how they talk about it. The way that I interpret it, I very much like the way that you interact with Arceus when you finally put him in a ball. Han says, so you're saying marrying Satamon is legal? No. Say marrying Satamon is in fact not legal. We're not going there. We're definitely not going there. When I say humans are Satamon, I mean it in the way that we're all animals. We're all descended from the same shared ancestor. So, you know, and I kind of want to do that. I want that distinction, primarily because humans feel so external, so like completely unrelated to Pokemons. It really feels disconnected, and I want to bridge that a little bit. But you can name all of your Satamon Mary. You absolutely can. You can definitely give them nicknames. That's fair, Prism. I like that too. That's right. Hans is correct. There's an old line in a Japanese version of Pokemon that said that at some point Pokemon and humans married, or perhaps it meant something else. That it's a bit of an internet rumor at this point. I'm not entirely sure about the official source, but you know, nonetheless, we're not making a Pokemon TTRPG. We're making a monster collecting and Pokemon Digimon / whatever else inspired game. We don't have to worry about those things. So this is the main dice mechanism. Relatively simple. There's a target number. You roll a number of dice, and if you meet or exceed, you're good to go. Peter says, I can't wait to build a small army of crabs and cats, and sometimes crabs that are also rodents. Maxi, you're rushing to find it, aren't you? I'm running pictures, fan art. There you go. And sometimes nightmares. By the way, big shout outs to Siska, by the way, who drew this incredible, horrifying drawing. Great work out there, Conchomp, picturing what appears to be a Pikachu-like crab. And in the corner is myself saying, you are the enemy of Christ. Conchomp is very cute. All mouse team, absolutely. I would like to encourage people to have all mice teams. So this brings me to a couple of the changes that we had recently. We'll talk about the gameplay loop in a second, but I feel there's a couple of changes that I want to catch up with, by the way. I know how evolution is gonna work. Don't worry about that, Peter. It's also called Satamorphosis in this game. Fury says, waiting for the Satamon Cross Tokimeki 95 spinoff. There's clearly a market for it. I do want to say, if you're expecting there to be mechanics for dating your Satamon, I'm gonna kindly request those users to be banned from the Discord. Yeah, that's gonna be, maybe that's like the one thing. Maybe not. I know Fury is being silly. Mods, don't ban Fury, okay? Me jumping in front of Fury. It's okay, Fury. I know you were joking. I know you were joking, Fury. Anyways. If you want to date monsters, play Iron Valley. There you go, Fate Leaf. There you go. That's the way to go. I was gonna say something else. So there is one additional gameplay change. I guess I'll just tell you now, by the way. Siska says, I'm not gonna ban Fury until they specifically ask me to, like that one guy who Nomiya stream. There is something about that, huh? Guy walks in and asks, hey, go ahead and ban me. And I'm like, you got it, buddy. Han says, jumping in front of Fury while also ordering the shooting. Killer move. I will say, I'm gonna be entirely honest and say that the entire, like, I don't know if there's gonna be Salamon breeding. I'm gonna be entirely honest. If there's one thing from Pokemons that I think I'm gonna, like, maybe just fully leave out, I think it's probably gonna be breeding. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure about that. Yeah, you know. I understand that, like, as a gameplay mechanism for creating more Pokemons and to, like, make your prized racing horses, I guess it's fine. It's, you know, it's serviceable, but it's really not the vibe that I'm going with. Have you played Ooblets? I have 100%ed Ooblets with Kitty. I like that Ooblets where you would like grow them out of the ground. That's fun. Unfortunately, for gameplay and story reasons, we can't do that. Because in this game, plants are the enemy, but we'll get there eventually. Seidas reproduce asexually like sea anemones. Like, I'm legitimately at the point where I feel like I would rather have each Sadamon have different reproduction methods, like in nature, rather than everyone uses eggs. Now, Sapphire says, I think breeding would be fun for the sole purpose of making freakier Sadamon, and that I respect. Siska says, any changes to offspring are totally random, so get ready to cast those dice. I need to finish Beastie Ball. I need to go back. The other game that I'm studying at the moment for monster collecting is Cassette Beasts. I really enjoyed it. I will say the aesthetic, I think the aesthetic is cute. It's just very much Pacific Northwest, which I'm a little burnt out on Pacific Northwest as a theme. Again, Pacific Northwest, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That game is so very much Northern Oregon and Seattle that I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm I'm a little tired of this theme, fellas. That's true. Fade Leaf brings up that other monster catching games. I gotta play Monster Quest Monsters, actually. Sorry, Dragon Quest Monsters. Computer, make a reminder to ask my wife to look for a deal on Dragon Quest Monsters. Kitty's the biggest deal hunter. Dragon Quest Monsters. In ththose games, creatures reproduce asexually. Or you generate more without reproduction in general, because in SMT you fuse together demons, and I don't know what you do in Dragon Quest. Now Siska makes the fair point that in all fairness, most creators reproduce using eggs. Okay, hear me. Okay, all right. Where's the post where I'm disappointed? Where's the post where I'm disappointed? It's this one, okay, okay. This does kind of look like I'm doing a different motion now that I think about it, but just ignore that I pointed that out, by the way. Okay, so I guess if you wanted to do breeding, this is the way that breeding would work, okay? You ready? Okay, I think only creatures within the same zodiac sign could breed with one another. It's essentially the way that it works in Pokemon, it's body groups. So, only small rodents could breed with other small rodents. I feel like that's the way you would do it. And it has the added purpose that it gets us around the whole can humans breed with Sadamon thing, because humans are uniquely of the Serpentaria sign. So, and there's no other creature that's Serpentarius. So, there you go. That gets us around the whole breeding problem. There you go. You know what? This is actually You know what, actually? Notes for future Maxi. Alright. Give me a table that is 2 units wide, please. Shower taken. How would breeding / combining Satamon work? One idea. Oh, chat is going crazy. I'm all cozy. Is there a particular reason why you picked Ophicus or Serpentarius for humans? So there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it is the 13th Zodiac, which, first off, I just like the tidbit that is a Zodiac that most people don't know about. Secondly, the timer is gonna go off in a second, by the way. Thirdly, I like the theming of Serpentarius. There is a giant hole for storytelling and theming out of the idea of a human and a snake bonding and like becoming friends. Is literally the imagery of someone the first humans befriending Satamon and learning to live together, having snakes with snakes wrapped around the sleeves of their tunics. To me, that makes a lot of sense. And it also kind of draws the idea that humans are, while they are in fact Satamon, they are exterior to the rest of the Satamon world because they're so frail, they're so different. Well, you have the 12 main Zodiacs, which, are all have a deep connection with the elemental natures of the world, etc., etc. Humans don't have that. Humans can't breathe fire, they can't summon lightning, they can't breathe underwater, they can't lift huge rocks, they can't literally grow plants on their body, and they can't, use psychic powers. It makes them feel alien to the entire circle, If you would like to draw some symmetry there, one could perhaps draw some symmetry between the Chinese Zodiacs and, of course, the unlisted Chinese Zodiac of the cat. Also, hi Solar, welcome in. This is preposterous. It's unfair. Hans says, and after 5 pages, it just says TLDR. Screw you, Hans. Fury says, opening this game and reading the 5 pages of lore explaining why you can't have Satamons have sex. I feel like probably the best way to go about it is to just not bring up the question. I feel like if you don't bring up the question, people, I feel like that the natural freaks and weirdos who would want that question answered would probably not be happy with having the answer, so I might as well not talk about it. Yo, it's Sapphire's friend Solar. Hey, what's up? What's up? You can grow plants in your body, says Ronnie. Okay, listen now. One way to do this, I need to get up and stretch, by the way. One way to do this would be to have only Satamon of the same or a like Zodiac sign be able to make an egg, or perhaps something else. Eggs are kind of boring. There you go. Han says, I have psychic powers. Is it really? Is that a bridge? Is that a bridge you're trying to sell me, or are you just happy to see me? By the way, I'm gonna get up and stretch, by the way. Kendra says, I have a PDF link for detailed breeding guide, and you only need like 3 pages of 10-point text. Then Lauren Ibsen for 85 pages. Oh, I see. Sometimes I forget what Kendra's real life work is, and then I'm like, oh, why is Kendra dealing with so much fucked up science stuff? And then I remember what Kendra does for a living. By the way, I'm up and I'm stretching. I would kindly request for you, if you're able, to get up and also stretch. Just, if you've been sitting for a while at your desk, just stretch you literally just get up, feel the rush of blood going back to your legs, perhaps stretch your legs, perhaps let your son in. Yanto's requesting that he be allowed in, so please, stretch. I'll be right back. Perhaps you can even hear me from across the room. Perhaps you'll be able to hear the door open as I let the boy in. Perhaps even you will hear him yell. Come in, son. Yanto, the show is going, Yanto. As you know, the show must go on. You have been fed. You have been fed. The door is open. Come on in. I'm gonna do this trick when I'm gonna walk away from him. I'm gonna walk away from the door. I'm gonna stand over here. I'm gonna give him 2 seconds to get in while I'm not looking. I have my back to the door, so he doesn't feel pressured to come in. I'm gonna turn around. I see. So today you have decided to make a fool of me, huh? Alright. I know how this cat plays. Okay, getting up from generating random values in Google Sheets. Hey, good thinking, Dallas. Kate says, meanwhile, I'm over here Googling how much does boobs weigh as I make a fundraiser where people guess the weight of my tits for a prize. Big shoutouts to all of my trans friends, by the way. And I wish, I'm hoping that we are able to raise a bunch of money for Kate. Kendra asks in chat, would you like to see a sad picture of my cat? Sure thing. You mean all of them? Not all my friends are trans mask. Oh, they are all trans though, that is true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright. No. Yanto is at the door, scratching. You know what it is? Oh, I heard him bolt. I gave him another little portion of food, and then he just bolted out of the hallway. Don't show it unless you cover the tag. What, is this gonna have like Kendra's real life freaking address right on it? It just has Kendra's address. Holy crap! Yeah, I'm not showing this. Okay, holy crap. It just has like your name on it. She does look really sad in this photo, by the way. She does look pretty sad. Yeah, she looks like she's crying. I will say this cat is perfectly safe and fine, by the way. Kendra moved, so, you know, heartbreak. You finished moving at 5 a.m.? Holy crap. Well, it's over now. You can always look forward to never having to do that again. For now. The cat is happy, though. And I can't show you the photo because it has literally Kendra's address on their cat's neck. Anywho, back to work. So, as for what the gameplay mechanic is, I realized that perhaps instead of having things you do in the wilderness and things you can only do in nature, perhaps I should instead look at a system very familiar to me. That's right, we're stealing from Ironsworn yet again. That's right, shout outs to Sean Tompkin for always letting me steal all of his tasty, delicious ideas. So instead of having things you only do in one place and things you do only in the other, what if instead we just have moves, baby? So instead of zone-based moves, you just have moves. Solar is so correct. Yo, Kate actually oh wait, so it's Siska. Siska and Cade both censored Kendra's cat. Perfect. Let me open the link. Now I can actually show you Kendra's cat. There we go. Look at this poor little baby. Look at this poor little baby who had to be on a subway ride for 2.5 hours. Maxi San Diego just stealing. It's so true though. Poor sweet girl. She's happy now, though. She's happy now. She did really well. She's tough as nails, as we know from the fact that she grew up on the tough streets of Brooklyn. So we just have moves. These moves represent the things you do in the game. Also, the things you would do in one of these monster collecting games. I swear, Yanto, my son, my dearest child, my firstborn. Why are you at the door? You have been fed. I have done everything you wished of me, son. And yet you demand more. How he scratches at the door. Oh, how he meows at me from beyond the hallway. How he wishes to be let in. What a terrible parent I must be. Fellas, give me a second. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and let this goddamn cat in. See, the trick is that this time I'm not even like telling him anything. I just open the door. And I'm walking back to my desk. I can hear his little feet upon the floor. He has entered the room, I think. I feel like I'm interacting with like an SCP, like Foundation kind of creature. Like, don't look at him when you engage with him. Don't blink your eyes. Now I'm gonna walk backwards and close the door behind me. Baby boy. Yeah, Yanto, I'm gonna need you to get away from my computer, please. Yanto! Okay, Yanto, it's time for you to pay the stream tax, baby boy. Yanto, could you please say hi to the audience, please, Yanto? Yanto. I think you can hear him purr, though. Yanto, please? Yanto, could you please just say hi? That's good enough! That's good enough. That's the stream tax, baby. Kendra asks, Maxi, is it too grim to share my list of disasters from yesterday? It's not that it's grim. It might be a little off topic at the moment. Perhaps if we were doing a just chatting stream, perhaps, but I kind of want to get back to focusing on the game that's on. All right. So. And now I look at him. My baby boy Yanto, he's now in the room, he's curled up. He's sleeping now. Just like that. Both my lovely, incredible, beautiful wife and my cat can just fall asleep at the drop of a dime. Not me. I haven't slept in 2 days. That's not true. I have gotten some sleep. But quality sleep? I don't think so. By the way, consider this your reminder, by the way, to take meds. My left shoulder is acting up again. And instead of being in pain for no reason, I'm gonna take some ibuprofen, as my beautiful wife told me to do so. So take this as a reminder to please take your meds. Don't be in pain for no goddamn reason. Okay. So, this brings us to, what do you do? What do you do in monster collecting games? And what do I want players to be able to do in Sadamon? So now, we're gonna make a little list of things you do in the game. A table, please, a table with 2 columns, please, thank you very much. So things that you do in the games and things that I want to actually see done. What kind of Sadamon are you? Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Dale. You do camping. Yeah, I immediately thank you for the idea, Peter. I have some notes on the bottom of this page. Sorry, my eye just got very itchy for no reason. So, why did I make 2 lists, by the way? You know what? Things in, things not in, also known as out, aka out. So, first off, by the way, a thing that you do in both games that will be in here is discovering, encountering / discovering new fucked up little guys. That's literally number one thing that you do in these games. In fact, if that wasn't the thing you could do in this game, I feel like it would be kind of a disservice and kind of a very bad game if you couldn't do that. Other things that you do in this game that will be available, of course. Will there be dungeons? That's a good point, actually. Put a pin on that. And I'm gone for today. No worries, Hans. Have a lovely rest of your day / night. I think it's night. Take care. Bye-bye. So you encounter and discover new fucked up little guys. The mechanism in this game for that is the, Sadamon creation system. Sadamon creation system. Interesting. Solar of course brings up the contests. There is definitely an idea there. I don't know how far I would want to go with a thing like Sadamon contests, for sure. It is an idea. You know what? New tab to the right. This is like things to do maybe someday later. I will say right now, one element of game design is deciding what you don't want to put in right now. Maybes. Contests are definitely a fun idea. I don't know if I want to put it in the base game. That seems like a whole entire different mechanism. Let Sadamon star in movies. There you go. Other things that you do, by the way, you fight. So there is essentially 3 kinds of encounters in these games, and all 3 of them will be available in Sadamon. So there's of course fighting wild Sadamon. These Sadamon use an AI table that is essentially just their instincts. Instincts are kind of a oh, there you go. So Solar describes it as must-haves, should-haves, and could-haves against the won't-haves at all. There you go. The instincts table is a very simplified version of what Sadamon can do in battle. Your Sadamon will have access to randomly generated and upgradable moves. That represents that your bond with them allows them to do things they normally wouldn't be able to do. If you fight a Sadamon in the wild, they won't have powered up super complex moves. This is I have made this executive decision for 2 reasons. Number 1, having you stop to quickly generate a Sadamon when you encounter it is already enough maintenance. Having them make you roll up like its starting moveset is absolutely nonsensical. So instead of having unique moves and creating a way for you to decide what moves do when an enemy does them, and prioritizing targeting and all that other stuff, that's too much. Instead, we just have a collection of like a handful, 5, 6 AI templates that wild Sadamon use. And it makes sense. Like, why would they have uniquely trained moves when they haven't been trained by a trainer before? It makes sense. You also fight. Don't mind me not knowing how to spell instincts, by the way. You also fighting NPC trainers. This includes, of course, villains. This includes, of course, something akin to like gym battles, perhaps, contests of strength. Now, I want to clarify this. This game does not have gym leaders. I am definitely stepping away from the idea of gym leaders. That is really not like my intention at all. One could consider perhaps a more open-ended nature, or perhaps an alternative way of looking at Pokemon. I know that we are at the point of the cycle where everyone hates Sun and Moon because it's the game, like the second game they played growing up, and the people who are making video essays on YouTube didn't play that game first. So everyone hates Sun and Moon, but I very much like how Sun and Moon broke the formula of you go to X number of gyms and you fight whoever the antagonists are along the way. It did things different, and I appreciated that. Rudy says, gyms are a mistake. They translate terribly to TTRPG. Yeah. So we're not gonna do that. But I do want there to be times when, for instance, okay, so let me back down. I was thinking about the kind of stories you could tell in a world like Sadamon. And I realized that, and this is the thing, this is almost like an issue with Pokemon in general, is that because Pokemon is very much focused on fighting, there isn't room for stories in Pokemon games that are not just you fight a bad guy who has Pokemans. Good people have Pokemans, but you don't just fight for no reason. You fight because you want to get their gym badge. And then the bad guys you fight them because they're bad. And definitely I would like a little bit more complexity than that. I would like to encourage people to come up with more complex stories than just that. That being said, fighting, we gotta come up with a better name for fighting. But the fighting that happens in Sadamon is it's kind of like a ritual of sorts that's shared by all Sadamon. It is a way of solving conflicts. It is a way of resolving disputes. You're not fighting to the death. It is really a kind of sparring. And every Sadamon engages in that. From the lowliest of rodents living in the plains to the mightiest of rocks, ROCs, swooping across the sky upon thunderous cliffs. All of them, at times of disputes, settle those disputes with a little friendly sparring. So I figured if this is a thing that all Sadamon do, including humans, which includes us, then clearly sometimes you will have to settle a problem with an NPC trainer battle. Now, you may be thinking, Maxi, you literally told me 2 minutes ago that creating a Sadamon and then creating random movesets was too much work. And now you're going to tell me that you're going to design a system where NPC trainers have custom Sadamon with custom moves. No! Clearly, we're gonna build on what we already have. If we have instincts as an AI kind of system that tells you what the enemy Sadamon do when they're wild, we just build on that for the NPC trainers. Instincts plus, or whatever we want to call it. I still don't know how to spell instincts, by the way. It's probably because I also don't know how to say it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The instincts are just more complex, and they feature moves with more keywords, with more effects, like stunning, moving your Sadamon around the battlefield, etc., etc., etc. These will still have archetypes. For instance, a ranged attacker, a brawler, a tank, a healer. But they'll be a little bit more specialized. I'm gonna put it here, specialized. So these are the two kinds of fights that most players will encounter. Trending training for an aim. Trending training? I'm not sure about that.
Solanus just donated 5.00 gigawatts.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a message that reads.
I gotta fix that part. Yeah, thank you so much, Solar. Thank you for the support. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. Yo, you know what? Thank you for the solar energy. So, and I do want to go back. Prism said, no, it was Peter. I was afraid for a moment where we're gonna have a team generator. Solos is this linked to the Iron Valley purchase or what? It is actually. It is linked to people supporting me through coffee. That is a support, by the way. Thank you for picking up Iron Valley. I should probably consider making it only donation based, but hey, you know, hey, thanks for picking up my game. I was just like, what? Got him. Oh no. That it was on through coffee. Coffee is the number. Did you know that coffee is the number one place to support me and what I do? Donations that come in through coffee, including sales of my books, get notified on the stream, and you get a little notification on the stream. That's what happened just now. Yeah, and anyone who donates through the stream will get that. Another way to support the stream, of course, is to become a YouTube member, where you get access to cool little emotes that you can share, and when you post them on the stream, they appear on the screen like these guys. There you go. You also get a cool badge next to your name that evolves over time. Please consider supporting the stream today. So, these are the two kinds of fights that players will do in their normal solo playthrough. You will fight wild Pokemons. No worries. All support is greatly appreciated. You know, if you can and you would like to, I appreciate it. No pressure otherwise, you know? That's why I release my games, pay what you want so that people can try them even if they can't afford to pick them up otherwise. I would very much rather people have fun with my games than not. Especially in these effed up times that we live in. So you do fights against Satamons, fight against NPC trainers. There's also fighting against other players. So, because of the way that I have built the moves, PvP combat is actually like... I know what you're thinking, Maxi, you're gonna make a whole new system for how PvP combat would work. Actually, PvP combat requires no additional designing. The way that the combat system currently works, it is the wild Satamon and NPC trainers whose systems are being adapted for the PvP combat. This is a game where you could literally build teams and then fight your friends. And I think that's freaking dope, man. The other thing, immediately related to that, by the way, is that in these kind of games, you trade you trade Pokemon or Digimon or whatever, and we are actually enabling that in a way. Instead of trading, trading records, trading records / entries in the SATA decks. Ooh, the SATA decks. Where instead of just giving someone a Satamon, you give them the custom entry that you created by randomly rolling the Satamon. So for instance, let's say that you're playing the game and you encounter a really fun, cute little rodent Satamon, and you're like, I think my friend would love this little guy. So you literally send them, you scan your writing, and you literally trade them that Satamon, so that Satamon now exists in their game. We're trading host species here. I like that, because now they exist in your game. Yo, Dallas is lurking. Yo, hell yeah. And they all got their 5th baby in Tomodachi Live. Yo, congratulations. Congratulations. Let me hit you with one of these. Wait. Everyone shut up. I have the perfect sound for this. I've been waiting for this. Oh my god, I can't believe I finally found a real reason to play the You Got a Baby sound from Conception to Children of the Stars. Oh my god, I can't believe I finally got a real reason to play that sound. Oh, I love it. This effectively adds new Satamon other players created to your game. Which I think is dope as hell. So we have trading in there. Trading is built in. Maxi, because you said there's player versus player combat, are you saying there's going to be a competitive scene for Sadamon? No, I didn't say that. I actually didn't say that. It would be funny. It would be funny if, like, you know, people are, like, rolling. I like the idea of it being more like, it's more like Gen 1 competitive, where, like, people are just showing up with whatever Pokemon they have, you know, and they're just like, yeah, so I have a crab. I have a I have a crab. And then, you know, you roll up to the Sadamon tournament, and then there's just a guy with, like, a mouse that goes really fast. Thank you, Sapphire. So you trade Sadamon. And now this brings us over to, like, the least specific parts, by the way. A crab and a mouse. You sure like putting those together, don't you? It's not really my fault. It's actually... Where the hell did I put it? No. Where did I leave my Siska drawing? There it is. It's not me. It's Siska. It's Siska. Siska's doing. Shoutouts to Siska in chat, by the way. Lady Tadpole, who created Conchomp already. There is no mechanics yet. There is no beta PDF for you to create your own fucked up little guys. And then yet we have Siska already. Siska already has like a 3-step evolution line for Conchomp. So true, so true. I'm just gonna leave this open for me. So what other things do people do in Pokemons? So there is one aspect of Pokemon that it's not, most players don't actually engage in this. Siska says, yeah, that's right. That's right. The line is Crumbster into Conchomp into a Muskrat. That's so fucking good. That's so fucking good. Oh, that's so good. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Again, you have no idea how happy it makes me that, like, when I release this game, there's gonna be a bunch of fucked up little guys. Especially, oh yeah! Okay, so this is a great time to talk about how your game is gonna be filled with fucked up little guys. So, as I mentioned last time, we're moving away previously. The previous character creation system for this game involved you essentially getting body parts and envisioning how they came together. I know it sounds bad when I say it like that, but that's basically what it was. That's basically what it was. I realized that was too much work. We did the math, and it turns out that in order to create one Sadamon, you would have to do an approximate amount of at least 15 dice rolls, which I have to say, that's a lot. So instead of you rolling on each individual body part, like head shape, mouth shape, nose shape, eye shape, I know you're thinking, Maxi, there's no way you actually did that, Maxi. There is no way you actually like did all that work, because that is ridiculous. Why would you have so many options, Maxi? Why would you do it? Why would you roll for tail shape, Maxi? Why would you roll on ear shape and nose shape and mouth shape and then skin options, Maxi? Skin options? I realized I was doing too much work when I was creating systems for things no one had ever thought to ask. Not a single person in the history of Pokemon has ever asked, what does Nidorina feel like to touch? No one's ever asked that. And no one should. So, as you no doubt imagine, now I know you're thinking, Maxi, why did you pick Nidorina? Because I was looking through the 151 Pokemon, being like, so what's the skin type, you know? I'm like, feathers, easy. Scales, easy. Fur, easy. Quills, easy. And then I look at Nidorina, specifically Nidorina, and I'm like, I think these are scales. I think Nidorina has scales, by the way. Like, because like Nidoran female is clearly supposed to be a rodent, and then it evolves into what is clearly a dinosaur-like lizard, like a bipedal raptor, and then it evolves into a bigger raptor who clearly has scales. Ronnie says that it's squishy, and I'm like, brother, I don't know what to tell you. And the funniest thing is that, again, I'm sorry to bring us back to the transvestigation of Nidorino, but you know, the Nidoran male line is even more disturbing. I still say rhino skin. And again, I don't think it's wrong. But if I am sitting here as the game designer for this disaster of a game, asking questions like, what does Nidorino feel like? What does Ghastly feel like to touch? I have lost it. I've lost. Please consider pulling the spaghetti out of the boiler, because the sauce is ready and I'm lost in it. Maxi, that was a long way to go for a bit. Also, the timer went off. You're right. Let me take off. Ghastly is smoke. Ghastly has got... But Ghastly can do physical moves! Ronnie, Ghastly can do physical moves, Ronnie. How can Ghastly touch? Ghosts are not real. Anyways, I'm gonna get up and stretch. I encourage you to please join me in stretching. I'm up on my feet. Try not to think about how Ghastly literally has no weight or mass, but it can somehow touch. Smoke can also physically kill you. Ronnie, I swear to God. Ghastly's obviously a poltergeist, says Solar. I thought poltergeist was specifically... No, a poltergeist means angry spirit, doesn't it? You know what? I think Siska is definitely going to come in and explain what the polter and geist means. Because that's a German word, isn't it? Or at least a German portmanteau. So I'm up on my feet. I'm thinking. I'm looking over to my side, to my son. He's curled up like a little gray donut. I have a Russian blue cat. The polter means to make noise. Oh, it's noisy ghost. Okay. Noisy spirit. Siska says a poltergeist is a ghost who likes to make noise, i.e. an asshole. We've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes. It's time for a quote, fellas. Siska, thank you for the quote. Prism says, Ghost type was in fact, you're right, a physical type before the split. So I think ghost types, it's Prism by the way, not Peter. Did I say Peter or Prism? Either way. Both of you have warm color icons with the letter P on them. So you know what, I can only do so much. But yeah, Prism was saying that I think ghosts are contact based, but like touching your spirit. That's a funny thing to consider. Anyways, Maxi, what are we doing here, Maxi? I originally broke all of the body types in Satamon into one of the 12 aspects of the zodiac. So we decided that, for instance, Leos were going to be quadrupeds of medium size, perhaps, cats and dogs and foxes. And that's something that Taurus would be large quadrupeds, like horses and bears, and wolverines and stuff like that, mountain lions. And we decided that, just like in Pokemon, there's gonna be Satamon that have humanoid-like bodies. And I realized, particularly Virgo and Capricorn, and Sagittarius, both have humanoid-like bodies. Sagittarius, of course, is the weirder of the two because it's just a two-segment body where the arms and the legs can be in whatever part possibly. Meanwhile, Virgo is clearly, head, body, upper torso, lower torso. I am loving these mock-up bodies. Thank you. These are literally from my notebook as I was losing my mind figuring out how they work. I think my illustration for Gemini is the best. I'm not gonna lie. If one is allowed to like toot their own horn, this being Gemini kind of tickles me. Gemini, by the way, are multiple smaller Satamon living in symbiosis. For instance, something like a duck trio, perhaps even a Magnezone. So, we were working on this table last time. We were like, okay, so let's get 8 body types for a zodiac sign. So instead of making you roll like twice, we just make you roll once on a D100 table. I like that. I feel like that works. So, we put we have 100 different body types that your Statamon can be inspired by. Again, if you roll mouse, it doesn't mean that your Statamon looks like a mouse. It means that it has a physical structure similar to that of a mouse. So, you know, for some of these zodiac signs, it's easy. You know, like we have 4-legged rodents, 4-legged mediums, 4-legged large, amphibians, raptors and reptiles, water boys, bugs and crab-likes, easy. And then we have all the humanoid body types. And you have no idea how I struggled to find a solution. I did find a solution. We'll get there in 2 seconds. But, you know, it's me going for a walk, thinking about how I really don't want to have, you know, the body shapes are guy, dude, brother, GN. And then it hits me. Mythology, dude. Mythology, dude. So what if, for the humanoid body types, we rely not in animals, per se, but we rely on mythology to direct the inspiration as to what they're based on. For instance, let me really quickly hide this. Peter says, honestly love the part of the stream where Maxi is like, we'll get there and then later we get there. There you go. See? All right, fellas, I'm going to show you a picture of a Pokemon, okay? Okay, you ready? Sableye jump scare. Sableye is a humanoid looking guy. Sableye has a head, an upper body, and a lower body. You can tell because he's got that slutty little hip going on. So he has that super grabbable slutty waist. But that's a joke. And I'm like, this is clearly humanoid. But what body type is it? Peter says it's the golem body type. Even better, Peter. This here? That's a goblin, baby.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so we put Goblin on the list. We put Goblin on the list of humanoids, which I believe it's Virgo. Where's Virgo? Goblin. We put Goblin in there. You too can have Satamon who look like little goblins. And that got me thinking, you know? And I'm like, instead of like me having to make them from scratch, we once again, is furry a thing on the list? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. You do make me realize that perhaps not furry, perhaps werebeast, perhaps, I mean, like, I don't know. We'll worry about it, okay? We'll worry about it. I mean, I feel like werebeast is like good enough. Werebeast gets us there without just putting furry on the list. I'm not against furries. I don't hate furries. That is a problem for future Maxi. But this made me realize that I could use mythology the same way that Shin Megami Tensei SMT uses mythology to guide the sign concepts. Something less politically charged, says Siska. Perhaps Selkie? Perhaps. But I do want to say, by the way, all of these will have a little illustration next to them to give you a feeling of what they look like. So, you know, I'm like, oh, then we could literally have mermaid. We could, you know, literally have goblin. We could have giant. We could have, you know, ogre. We could have, you know, to literally envision what those body types are. Sapphire says there should be quirk tables. The quirk tables is when you roll on what weirdness they have, because that is still part of character creation, is that there's just weirdness. And that's how you literally make your Satamon unique. You know, instead of just being like, I'm a cat. Pictured me when I've been isekai'd, but I've been isekai'd to the world of Cats the Musical. I'm a cat. So body types. We use mythology for that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Done. We can even use mythology for other creature types, you know? Someone was like, oh, looking forward to the Chimera body type. And I'm like, I don't know. Perhaps we could have a Satamon that literally has more than one head, you know? We could. It happens in Pokemon all the time. So back to the list of things that you do in this game, right? Now finally rewinding back to where we started. Hydra is so much better. Let me go put Hydra on the list already before I forget. I think that would be raptors. I think it would be amphibians, actually. I'm gonna put Hydra in here and not worry about that. Yeah, Hydras are low to the ground. Hydras are low to the ground and they drag their bodies. Hydra goes in amphibian, by the way. AKA multiple heads, by the way. Multiple heads and either slithering body or forelegs. Peter says, also, hope I didn't sidetrack the stream too much. Don't worry. I appreciate you being concerned about that, but don't worry. It was on my list of things that I wanted to talk about today. By the way, I know if someone's is wondering, Maxi, how many more pins do we have that we were gonna get back to it? There is one more, which is creature size is now a thing, but we'll get there. Perhaps we have gotten there. All right, so there's one more addition to the game, the physical special split. So I realized that in the current version of Satamon as it stands, when you roll on the quirk, perhaps the weirdness table, your Satamon gains unique stats like, wings, or perhaps squills, or spikes, or scales, or whatever, right? And when you gain these things, you also gain, like, bonuses to stats. For instance, if you gain a bunch of Hey, phone, are you okay, phone? Hello, buddy. Hello, camera tracking. Are we live, friends? Are we locked in? Huh. My phone is no longer responding. Really keeping me on the edge of my seat there. Let's do a classic restarting of the tracking software. Just a classic restarted, by the way. As I was saying, we are live. Thank you, Dallas. Okay, I have fixed my position. Will the face tracking work? I'm wobbling my head back and forth like I don't care. Okay, I appear to be back. It appears that everything is working again. See you later, Erasmo. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye. Don't worry, Peter. I knew that word was not supposed to be there. I don't feel like we're already that comfortable. You would just call me love. Truth be told, I was really tired yesterday, so I called someone who wasn't my love, so that's why I felt very much personally attached to, your mistake there. Don't worry, my dyslexia fixed it. Nonetheless, as I was saying, in the current system for Satamon creation that we have, you are gonna roll a number of times on your Satamon build, and that will give you a number of features, whether it is, armor, wings, an elemental gem that allows you to do ranged attacks with the element of your choice, stronger, more powerful arms, blades for arms, spikes for arms, a blunt-like protection around your arms that make them look like you're wearing boxing gloves in your hands, even though you clearly are not, because you're just a frog. No relation to Ribby, Winnie Sosie. Will there be chainsaws? You can envision chainsaws if you want. Listen, I know that this is a creature collecting game very much inspired by Pokemon, but you can Digimon this shit up. There's no reason why you can't just envision whatever you want, if you just want all of your Satamon to just be big woman, I guess you can't. Maxi, are you throwing Digimon under the bus because it has literal Digimon whose name ends in woman? Perhaps. Anyways, so I realized that the only mechanically defensive option that you have when rolling for your assets or your quirks or your traits is armor, which essentially means that you just have a higher defense rating, which enemies have to roll higher to hit you. And I realized that means that the creatures with high armor essentially just negate both ranged and melee attacks, which definitely feels It feels like a recipe for disaster. Maxi, are you extrapolating here? How do you know that leads to disaster? I know, because we've been there. That's Generation 1, baby. Pokemon with good special were just good at everything. And Pokemon with bad special were just bad at everything. So that made me realize that I needed to do a split between whether you're defending against physical attacks or ranged energy-based attacks. And immediately, I'm a game designer, I've been at this for a while, immediately my brain is like, well, clearly, the answer, diegetically, is that when somebody punches you, you block the punch. Because you're in such close range that you can't just dodge the punch. So you block. So in that case, reacting to physical attacks is blocking, aka, let's just call it defense. You roll defense when you're fighting hand to hand and attempting to evade an enemy's attack. I realize I'm going to use the same word in a second, but whatever, don't worry about it. Now, what would you call a stat for when you're trying to evade a ranged attack? Because sure, you can block a punch, but you can't block a flamethrower. For things like a flamethrower, you just have to just dodge out of the way and hope you don't die. Which is also the name of the hit single for my upcoming emo band.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I've been listening to a lot of like old emo bands, and they really have titles like that. Anyways, thinking particularly AFI. AFI has a lot of songs that just sound like that. Anyways, so I thought, okay, so evasion. If somebody hits you with a hyper beam, you're not gonna hold up your arms and try to block it like it's a punch. You're gonna die. So instead, you must dodge out of the way so you don't get hyper beamed. Bye, Maxi. Oh, hey, Maxi. Siska, what's up? Check our chat. Oh no. Siska hit me with this smiley face. Oh no. Our chat in my Discord. I'm running. I'm stumbling ass backwards. I'm falling. Dude! In response to Ronnie's comment on today's stream, oh my god, I love this. It's Mabobo. Crubbo. Oh my god, I love the dude. He's a Fresno Nightcrawler. Crubbo evolves into Mobo and can evolve into Mabobo or Flobobo. I like that somehow I realized that Siska's so smart. Siska has discovered that the Fresno Pants Man, also known as the Fresno Nightcrawler, is actually the gestial form of Mothman. The boreal cryptid. There you go. Yeah. I love it, Siska. This is beautiful, Siska. Thank you. I know you drew it for Ronnie, but I love this. Yeah. Here you go. First split evolution Satam Online just dropped. Momobo. I love Crubbo into Mobo. Into Flowubbo. These are Satamon names. I love it, Siska. Thank you very much. You have made my day. Crubbo. He's got little booties. I love him. There's no boots because he's a boreal cryptid. And it's snowy. You see? Sorry, I'm just looking at this mofo. It's so good. I'm also gonna leave this open. I have 2 tabs of Siska's art just on my stream now. So on one hand, we have a special a physical defense and range defense split that's happening now. Oh, I love it, Siska. Yo, Mary's here. Hi, Mary. Hello. How you doing, Mary? Good morning. It's Mary. I'm in the middle of a game design explanation, so the following will make no sense to Mary, who just woke up all the way in beautiful, cold Australia. Lucy demanded early breakfast, so I'm awake. Ah, I see. Ah, damn, you didn't just wake up early to watch my show? Damn. Cruel. Me when Mary tells me that they didn't wake up early to watch my show. Anyways, so here's the problem, okay? I need a physical special defense split. And also, one of the issues that happens in TTRPGs with heavy focus on combat is that eventually you have to open the ugly can of worms labeled initiative. How the hell do we deal with initiative? And clearly, I know what you're thinking. By the way. You're like, Maxi, clearly the way to go is that you, each Satamon has a different unique speed value. And you, at the beginning of combat, you literally write them in order. Don't make me tap the sign. The sign reads, the biggest enemy of the sign for this game is computation. When you're playing a game like Pokemon that literally does all the mathematics behind the scenes, you can just have a number that decides who goes first. Especially when you have ties and the machine just flips a coin to see who goes first. I'm not gonna super explain the initiative system because I don't feel like I have the breadth for that just yet. But nonetheless, it's gonna function like this. Instead of there being, you have to literally make a table of which Satamon goes on which turn. Instead, there are now a thing that I was already gonna institute, but now it's applied a little bit differently, called speed brackets. Satamon go in a series of brackets based on. Let me just make a table to just visualize what I'm telling you right now. So. Welcome to speed brackets, also known as my favorite. Never mind. I was trying to think of a funny thing to like make about brackets. Some sort of dental racing game? No, it's not called brackets. By the way, brackets is what we call what's it called? The thing that people put in their teeth to straighten them out. What's it called? What are those called? Anyways, in Mexico, we call them brackets. And I figured that if I call them brackets to you, you wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about. So welcome to braces. Thank you. In Mexico, we call them brackets. So that's why I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, call them brackets, Maxi. And I'm like, nobody knows what you're talking about, you big idiot. Speed tiers. All right, so there is. Let's just go with 4 speed tiers, right? So instead of making a big table where like you have to make a new table for each Satamon that is fighting. By the way, this list assumes that you're bringing more than one Satamon to battle. I am designing this game so that it's played usually with 3 Satamon that you have out at all times. So in case you were wondering why it even matters to have an initiative table, this is why, by the way. You're gonna do mostly 3-on-3 battles. Okay, that's a lie. It's gonna be mostly like 4-on-4 because, fun fact, you are on the battlefield too, because you're also Satamon, so you also get to be on the battlefield. But nonetheless, so the speed tiers are based on a creature's size. We get to add another little tear to the creature design. So tiny creatures, which are creatures smaller than 2 feet, if I remember correctly, the way that is in D&D. Creatures smaller than 2 feet. 4x4 girlies, let's go. That's right, rotation battles are back. That's actually not true, by the way. Don't expect rotation battles. That's not really how this game is gonna work. Nonetheless, so anything smaller than 2 feet. These creatures, all of them, go first. Then small creatures go next. Then medium creatures. Then large creatures. Then huge creatures. Now after this in D&D is gargantuan. We'll come up with another name for them. But essentially, Maxi, what's wrong with gargantuan? I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think it's bad, and it should feel bad. Titan? True warning for Kendra. Perhaps an attack on Titan? See, perhaps Titan is not that bad, actually. So the thing that I was thinking about is that, like, by D&D rules, if we were to consider D&D rules, by the way, Gargantuan is 20 by 20 feet, and I'm like, brother, if you're fighting a Saiyamon that's 20 by 20 feet, that's a fucking kaiju, man. And I don't know if I want to worry about rules for fighting kaijus, but nonetheless, you're gonna arrange your Saiyamon by their size, and within their size, you will take turns in player order. So the order in which you take actions is more dependent on who's the first player for that turn. Player order switches every round, so that makes things relatively fair, methinks. Now, Maxi, what's the benefit of this? The benefit of having the size of your creature actually modify the turn order, it means that, one, little guys get to go first. And you know what? I'm always looking out for the little guys. Number two, it means that as your creatures go through metamorphosis and become stronger and larger, they take later turns. Now, to me, this is important because it means that if you're fighting a big guy, your little guys will get a chance to attack before the big guy goes. If you're a big guy fighting a bunch of little guys, the little guys get to do something before you just completely, stomp them. So to me, that's a good design. That's a good design aspect. This also completely gets us over figuring out speed ties and having to do math to be okay, so I have 3 Satamon with me. One is speed 50, and then the other person is okay, well, mine's speed 32. And I'm well, I have a 49. And then the person's I have another 32. And then you're and my last Satamon is actually, wait, I got it wrong, it's actually a 61. And then the person you're fighting is actually, you won't believe this, it's another 32. I'm coming to fight with the same Satamon 3 times. That's right, nobody expects the 3rd Slowpoke. What happens when 2 Satamon fight each other? The following, by the way, in case you're wondering, one aspect of being a game designer is consuming lots of games, reading their books, taking inspiration from them, and I very much like the turn order system, in part, in a game like Battletech or Battlemech. Is it Battletech? It is Battletech. I literally have the box next to me. So within the speed tiers, you go in order of player turns. So for instance, let's say that I have with me 2 Krobos. I have my Krobo. It's my Krobo, and then I'm gonna put Kendra's. It's gonna be Kendra's Labobo. So it's my Krobo versus Kendra Labobo. They're both tiny boyos. And then afterwards, I have my Conchomp. My Conchomp. And after that, it's Kendra's Labobig. Maxi, are this literally real Satamon? I'm making them up as I go. Kendra says, my internet has not recovered since you said Attack on Titan. Kendra, I don't control your internet. I do control your... That's not true. I don't control your life. So the way the turn order would go, if I'm the first player, I would first control my Krobo during the tiny speed tier. Then Kendra would move with their Labobo. Then we would go to the next speed tier, where only I have a small Satamon, so I would use my Conchomp. Then, since Kendra has no small Satamon, we move to the next speed tier, where is Kendra's medium-sized Labobig, which I know what you're thinking, shouldn't it be Labomed? And unfortunately, no. That's a little misconception. And having gone with all of our Satamons, the round would reset. We would go back to the top. And because Kendra is now the first player, when we go back to the tiny speed tier, Kendra's Labobo would go first before me. And we go on like that. I feel like that, first off, it makes it feel more like a sport. Like you're literally not just doing dogfighting, you're actually, in fact, engaged in a sort of standardized, formatted play that everyone is aware of and is familiar with. You know, kind of like tennis or like a sport, you know? Or like a sport. Maxi, why was tennis your example of a sport? Well, the reality is that I was thinking of golf, but like, I wasn't thinking of golf because I like golf. I was thinking of golf because I love Mario Golf. Mario Golf is a very good game, especially on the Game Boy Color. It had like a unique like campaign. You would level up and like you would talk to people. It was made by the same people who made the Pokemon TCG game for the Game Boy Color. And you can tell because the sprites are actually really similar. But anyways, so you know, but I didn't want to say golf. So instead, I just said tennis because it's the second next thing. Because, again, greatest tennis game, Mario Tennis for the N64. The following is going to be incredibly out of character, by the way. The content, you know, I know that I'm a yapper. You know, I'm a chit chat. I'm a yapper. I'm a big talker. That last story made absolutely no sense. That last story, let me tell you, that last story reminds me of like a particular fictional character from an indie franchise that I will not mention. Indie? Maxi, FNAF is not indie. Shut the fuck up, Maxi. Anyways, nonetheless, how much work have we gotten done today, Maxi? Shut up! I think that I've gotten plenty of work done today. It's also just establishing what's going to be happening. Nonetheless, this is the speed system now, so your creature size is actually very important. FNAF used to be indie. It is no longer indie. I'm sorry. It isn't. You know what? I'm gonna say it, okay? I'm gonna say it. The instant you have a Hollywood movie made about your game, it stops being indie. You know, actually, I'm walking it. I'm not walking it back. I'm walking it forward. The instant that you have merch of your franchise being sold at Hot Topic, you stop being indie. That's right. Stardew Valley, no longer indie. They have merch of Stardew Valley at Hot Topic, and I have to say, who fucked up? Like, they have merch, but it's not like, it's like the most random merch. It's like a shirt with like the wizard on it. And I'm like, who wanted this? Who wanted to bone the wizard? Don't say anything, Ronnie. Who wanted to bone the wizard? Who's gonna pay $21.99 for a medium-sized boyfriend cut t-shirt of the wizard? Does that mean Among Us is no longer indie? Absolutely not. But the twink version I have. See, the thing is, like, I almost feel like I can forgive Ronnie. Because, like, you're not... Ronnie's not horny for the wizard from Stardew Valley. Ronnie's horny for the twink version of the wizard from Stardew Valley, which there's a purity to that, you know? You looked at the source material and you thought this is not twinky enough. And that's fine. But there are freaks out there who are like, you have got to give me this old man. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, brother, I don't know. Who wanted to bang the wizard? Thank you. Thank you. Also, everyone, please behave. My wife is probably gonna walk in through the door, the proverbial door. They're at work, but my wife is most likely gonna walk through the door in any minute now. So everybody, please act normal. Different floats for different boats plus. No, jail. Your Honor. Prison time. Extended prison time, no parole. That's it, thank you. So now I'm gonna get up and stretch. Look at me, Maxi. I'm looking, Siska. Direct eye contact. Extended eye contact. There you go. Damn it, Siska's being real now. Damn it. I've only ever dated people who were older than me. I mean, I've been there. Siska says, look me in the eyes as you shoot me, pig. Alright, Siska. I've got my gun. Let me do a little warning shot. I'm gonna look away. There you go. Okay, Siska. I'm looking you right in the eye, Siska. Your Crubbo is mine, Siska. There you go. Maxi, you missed. Yeah, I had the safety on. Kendra says, I'm gonna have to object without aggravating factors, 25 years without parole. I don't know about that. Alright, I'm gonna get up and stretch, by the way. We're gonna do 15 more minutes of work, and I will be needing everyone's ideas for figuring out things you do in Pokemon games. And then we're gonna do dailies. I'm feeling silly enough. So I'm up on my feet. I would like to request that if you have been sitting for the entirety of the stream and you're able to, please get up and stretch a little bit. I've been sitting down for half an hour and I can tell my legs needed to get up and stretch a little bit. So here we are. Here I am once again. I'm torn into pieces. I'm torn into little pieces. That's right. Me, when the wizard transmogrifies me into a bag of Reese's and cracks it open and all my pieces fall to the floor. Do you think that wizards would have to buy a license to transmogrify people into, like, branded products? Like, if I wanted to... Solar says, every time I call us to stretch, I stand up. You call us to stretch, I stand up, try to stretch, and instantly hit the slanted ceiling. Got him. Got him, boys. Anyways, as I was saying, do you think that if a wizard wanted to transmogrify someone into, like, a can of Coke, would they have to, like, get a license for that? So this because according to the last bread mage, yeah, they do need a license. I see. Thank you, Peter. Peter says I'm gonna have to leave soon, but as for things to do in Pokemon, research endeavors. Kendra really do be out there being like, hey, any wizards in chat want to turn me into a Diet Coke? There's a joke here. There's a joke in here. There's a joke in here, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go there. me when I'm Batman in a flashback where my parents are alive and I'm hugging them, but I realize the flashback is ending. And I'm like, no, please, I don't want to go. Anyways, that's stupid. That's stupid. Yeah, so regarding Peter's question, I feel like that's stuff that you would discover when, as part of envisioning the creature species. But I definitely, I'll put it in there for sure. Learn about them is part of the creation system. All right, so 12 minutes on the clock. Get set, go. So other things you do in Pokemon games or in Sadamon, there would have to be an option to train Sadamon, and this is basically a way to customize movesets, either by like re-rolling move traits, changing move stats, etc, etc, etc. You would do that by training. You could do training in the wilderness, or you could do training literally in a city, and I feel like that works. Yo, they added Mechagodzilla to Fortnite. Yo, speaking of the Fortnite of the Fortnite of my heart, the Fortnite of the Fortnite of my wife's here. Hi, wife. Hi, wife. Hello, wife. The Fortnite of my heart. That's right. Please feel free to imagine what I meant when I called Lady Kirin the Fortnite of my heart.
Dude, that's gay.
Lamau, you good? I don't know if I am. Am I good? Am I good? Me when I'm a dog and my owner hasn't given me a pet all day. Am I good? All right, so you train your Satamon, right? So I do want to say, by the way, people who are familiar with Pokemon, I know that in Pokemon you have things like EVs and IVs, ways to customize how your Pokemon works in battle. I don't really want. I feel like there's no way for me to like emulate a system like that without adding more crunch to the game. So I feel like the best way for me to do that is just to put all that effort into making the moves customizable enough for you to have fun creating your own unique moveset. I feel that customizing your moveset is probably better bang for your buck than like customizing IVs. I know that misses out a little bit on customization, perhaps, but that to me just feels like one way to go. Alternatively, I guess you could perhaps add new keywords to your. So I'm thinking like you literally teach a Satamon the ability cut, so they gain sharp, which they can use to enhance their moves and or using the overworld to cut down, bushes, etc., etc. Maybe add new keywords at the cost of upgrade points or whatever. Perhaps. Now, other things that you do in Pokemon, thankfully I already wrote this. So the other thing that you do is you gain items. You just gain items. There's gonna be a list of items that you can just obtain in the wild, perhaps a table. And you gain items, of course. You just find them. You just find them. People give them to you. As rewards, and also just randomly. I'm legitimately thinking of like you walk into a town and you just talk to someone, and like depending on what role you just get to be like, oh, this person gave me an item, and then you roll on the table and you're like, this guy just gave me a potion. I kind of like that. Other ways to gain items. You also have to buy them. So there has to be some sort of store system. A store system, perhaps. So I was thinking that like, will there be item crafting? I'm not entirely sure if I want there to be item crafting. Because again, there's no such thing as like Pokeballs in Satamon. When you recruit a Satamon, you don't just throw them in a ball and now they're yours. They can't go anywhere. Instead, you recruit them. You literally like ask them if they want to join your group. And if they agree, they join your group. And they hang around with you. Maxi, what if I have literally a menagerie of Satamon following me around? Have you considered that? I have, and I don't know how to fix that problem. In fact, let me just go to notes for future Maxi. How do we deal with the player having a menagerie? Menagerie of little fucked up guys following them around everywhere. In Pokemon, they solved this with Pokeballs. In Digimon, they solved this with haha, it's all data. I don't know what I would do to fix this problem, other than just have, because if you have a limit of how many Satamon you can have as friends, then then there needs to be a system for what happens when you hit maximum Satamon. Do you just send Satamon away? Do you send them to the park? Hi, Garm. You know, do they just go back home? Because, like, the thing that gets me is that, like, it's kind of messed up that, like, if I go into the wilderness and I catch a wild little guy, let's call this wild little guy a Crubbo. I catch a Crubbo. Like, what happens next? Like, this, like, if I don't want Crubbo in my party, this guy just stays in a ranch somewhere? What about his family? What about his friends? Oh my god, a Crubbo. Oh, by the way, Kitty, Siska made an evolutionary line for Ronnie. It is the American cryptid Satamon. It's Crubbo, evolves into Mobo, and in forest, it evolves into Flowubbo. And at night, it evolves into Momobo. Why wouldn't you want Crubbo in your party? It's because Crubbo has a weakness to metaphysical, and I really don't want Crubbo to get absolutely annihilated. Hold on. Yep. You got it! The first step. Again, like, I said this already, but I like that Siska figured out that the Fresno Nightcrawler is like the beginning stage of Mothman, which I very much like. There's something about that I really appreciate. Kitty says, I love him. And yes, I do in fact have 2 pieces of Siska artwork on the screen, because I love it. Shoutouts to Conchomp, by the way, the enemy of Christ. I don't know what I would do. I don't know, because, like, I feel like one particular option that we could do is that you literally, like, you literally say, hey buddy, go back to where you live, and if I need you, I'll call you. Which is kind of dumb. It's kind of a gameplay abstraction, and I don't know if I like it. Because, like, what? Like, do we have to come up with a system for, like, oh, I left Crubbo in freaking Silver Point City. Kitty says, we talked about this before and we still don't have an answer. I know, it sucks. It sucks. I don't have an answer for this. And, like, I legitimately don't know what the best course of action is. Like, I don't know if, like, you should literally, like, if you have more... Perhaps the easiest solution is if you have more than 6 Satamon in your party. Perhaps 8. Maybe I'll let you have 8. So you can have 2 parties worth. If you have more than 8 Satamon in your party, you either have to dismiss a Satamon, you know, say goodbye, Butterfree style, or you just don't gain new Satamon. You can only have a party of 8 feels really big, but X number of Satamon. And maybe when you dismiss a Satamon, you gain like a reward, perhaps. Perhaps you gain bond or something. Perhaps this encourages players to, you know, let go of their Satamon. Perhaps you can let go of Satamon. Perhaps or you know, honestly, Poke Candies. No, wait, we're not doing that. I am not gonna grind all Pidgeys into dust. Yeah, I'm legitimately thinking that, like, maybe just let the player figure this out, by which I mean is that, like, perhaps when you and a Satamon part ways, that Satamon just goes back to the region where you found it. Because the thing that gets me is that, like, the player is still gonna have that character sheet. So perhaps if you want to re-recruit that Satamon, you just go back to it. Perhaps there's a move for reuniting with an old friend. Reuniting with an old friend. You know? Perhaps there's just a move called, you know, when you are in the area where you first met a Satamon you released, envision the 2 of you reunited, then add that Satamon to your party. Of course, you would have the requirement of have at least 1 open spot in your party. There you go. Kita says bye-bye Butterfree. Oh, hi Butterfree. Hold up, you know what sound I absolutely need on the stream? YouTube, Pokemon, anime, title card sound. Now, that's good. That's good. I need the sound. It's 11 seconds long. That's good. Okay, computer, leave this tab open, computer. Computer, pin this tab, computer. Just the last part, maybe, probably just the last part. The wind-up is very, like, synthy. I wasn't expecting that. Me, when I'm best friends with the champion of the Sinnoh region. Hey, Cynthia. Cynthia, trigger warning, by the way. All right, it's 1:30. I'm supposed to be doing dailies already. But before anything else, what are other things that you do in Pokemon games? You gain items, you train your Satamon. Well, I guess you. I know that I was saying that I want to have less mechanics, but for reasons that I haven't explained yet, eating in this game is actually a meaningful part of the process. Eating the berries of this region, the fruits of the incredible lush land in the world of Satamon, is actually how your Satamon stores Sata energy, which they use for Satamorphosis. So literally, combat is not how you guys level up. They level up by gathering enough nutrients so that they can undergo the explosive transformation that is Satamorphosis. That's right. Yes, cooking will be in the game. Making a sandwich. Yeah, making a sandwich / curry for your boys. Yep. Get ready for shiny sandwiches coming up. Yep. And I guess Peter was asking about dungeons earlier, and I'm just not sure. I guess exploring dangerous places is essentially like dungeons / wilderness / like ruins. Because the other thing, by the way, the one thing that I wanted to bring up with this change in Satamon that wasn't present before is that with the previous version of the game, you could only encounter Satamon in the wilderness. With this now, you can now encounter Satamon because encountering a Satamon is not bound to the wilderness. You can now encounter Satamon in civilization, which means we have completely abolished the idea that the game only takes place in non-human inhabited areas, and I feel like I'm okay with that. I like the idea of you encountering a little fucked up guy while, scouring an abandoned warehouse or something. To me, that makes sense. That allows for more storytelling instead of less. So perhaps there will be a move for exploring dangerous, dark places. Other than that, what else do you do in Pokemon? I guess a move for traveling large distances. This would probably call for the ability to march / ride a Satamon for faster travel, the ability to surf / swim across bodies of water, the ability to fly around obstacles or large distances. Gorm. You go to abandoned warehouses whenever you need to find the creature in real life too. Yeah, for sure. Alright, chat, we're gonna change to dailies in literally like 2 seconds, but now, before anything else, is there anything funky, fun, fresh that happens in the world of Pokemon Digimon, not Monster Rancher, that could fit within the basic groundwork of one of those games? Again, we talked about things like contests, and I'm like, I don't want to worry about contests for now. I'm talking about just the basic. Damn it, Giddy! I just said no contests.
This is why I don't respect streamers.
contest is in the maybe tab, as is breeding, by the way. Maxi, what about Pokeblocks, Maxi? What about Pokeblocks? Playdates? What is the mode called in Sun and Moon where you just rub the stylus on your Pokemon's face? Is it Pokemon Ami? Alright, you know what? Sapphire, congratulations, you just gotta quote it. Sun GN. Sun gender neutral. Congratulations, you just gotta quote it. That is Sapphire Star Blazer 2025. Siska says your clothes need to affect how other Satamon and humans see you. It's Pokemon Ami. Some sort of Pokemon Ami where you some sort of bonding, some sort of Satamon Ami. You bond and pet them and they are all cute. Perhaps one could say, I mean, like, Siska's like, your appearance should matter. And I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong, but you're also going to be out in the wilderness. Perhaps someone could argue that having the right equipment could matter, but I'm not 100% sure about that. For now, though, this does kind of seem like the groundwork, right? Like, I'm thinking of, like, base Pokemon, like Generation 1. Fashion styles is always important. What clothes you wear give you trainer classes that affect what you can do and what your buddies can do. This is actually, by the way, this isn't that new idea. This is actually an idea that I had for Pokemon so long ago that I typed it up. That's not true. I wrote it by hand, and I wrote my idea that I had about how you could pick a trainer class and that would boost your Pokemon. So you could have like all water types and have a lessened weakness to electric to encourage you to be like the trainers in the wild and have only one type. I wrote it by hand and I mailed it to Nintendo. And they got back to me. Did I mention that I'm actually a stockholder at the Pokemon Company?
Yeah, that makes sense.
For legal reasons, I have to say that's actually not true, by the way. That's actually not true. That is actually not true. I don't actually own stock in Pokemon. If I did, this whole stream setup would be really silly. Anyways, it's 1:37. It's time for Dailies. Welcome to Dailies, the segment of the stream where we do games we can only play today. Let me take a sip of water. And remind you that this stream is supported by viewers just like you. If you enjoy this stream, please consider donating through coffee.com/mkirin. Just click on the link in the description or in the chat and send a donation. Any and all amounts help a lot. There's the expression that I'm looking for. I have to really bend my face for this one. All support is greatly appreciated. You will also get a little message on the stream. And with that, we're diving right in. Welcome to Dailies, the segment of the stream where we play games we can only play today. First, Quartal, where we do Quattro, also known as 4, Wordles, because it's the only way I can feel anything anymore. We go Rogue into Saturn into Blimp. And let's not look at this bottom corner. We have OIM. It's not really the keys to the kingdom. Spoon? No, there's no N on the bottom left. No spoon. Spool? Not spool either, because there's no L. Well, what if it's sprung? No. Spoof? There we go! Bingo! I'll one day figure out which button to press. We still don't have a lot going on. We know that it's I-O and M. What could this be? No S? Well, it must be M-I-O. M-I-O what, though? Unless, it couldn't be I-O-M, though, right? Axiom? It's not Axiom. It's not Axiom because there's no A. The only A is on the bottom right, that cursed, that very cursed selection of letters. It's not Axiom. Mio. Mioverse. Mioverse? Do they sponsor? Odium? Odium, says Kitty. It is not. No, it actually can't be Odium because the U doesn't actually. The O goes in the 4th position, not the 1st position. I think we're gonna need a hard scout. Because we have EPAR. Perhaps it ends. It could be P at the end. That's not getting better, Maxi. Perhaps it's appear? No. What if it's RE? What if it's Padre? It's not Padre, but we have the keys to the kingdom. Okay. I can't see, so I'm blind guessing. No worries, beautiful. So we have the keys to the kingdom. So it's the word. Moving on. Nothing weird going on here. So we don't have. We know there's a D now. So DIMO. Perhaps it ends in IMD. No, IOD? Moid? Omoid? Oioid? No, then it must be Diom. It's idiom! It's idiom! There we go.
Bingo!
Easy peasy lemon squeeze. Wait. Hold up. Stop celebrating. I actually haven't gotten the last word. It's probably ILE. Exile? Alright. As I was saying, I'm incredible. 444, baby. Let's actually do this. Alright, welcome to Guess the Game, where we guess the game by guessing the game. This is a Commodore 64 video game. The particular rendering on those clouds is ass. It could also be NES rendering. Bart Simpson's nightmare for the NES. It is not. This is NES. This is NES. How can you tell is Commodore 64? It's the colors. But this is the era. This is the era. It's also a very old game. This could be like... This could be Commander Keen for all I know. Give me one skip. This is Donkey Kong 2? Donkey Kong Jr.? It's not... Oh my god, it is Commander Keen. Oh my... It is actually Commander Keen? Are you kidding me? It really is Commander Keen, huh? No, it's DuckTales! Oh. DuckTales. Ooh, boo-doo-boo-doo-doo. I should... You know what, honestly? I should have known from this shot, because that's the interface that appears in Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers for the NES. I should have known. That was an adventure? Thank you. DuckTales, man. Yeah, and then you just know. Dude, this color scheme is so Commander Keen, man. Anyways, welcome to Pokedoku, where we do a Sudoku, but it's backwards and it's Pokemon. So the categories today are... Yeah, Capcom made that. Capcom made a bunch of Disney-based games. Water, Ground, Dragon, Rock, Fossil, and Legendary. So I feel like the fossils are the most specific ones. For water fossil, it literally is any Gen 1 fossil. In fact, rock is like, they are all rock. So I feel comfortable saying Dailies here. No, I am not. I'm going Cabotops. Wait. I think Cabotops and Omastar are both just rock water, aren't they? Damn it, I've gotten so bad at this that I have lost all confidence. Okay, Aerodactyl is actually the way to go. Thank you, Kitty. And fossil is Omastar. Omastar is water fossil 100%. Dragon fossil. Dragon fossil? That's my boy. That's everybody's boy. It's a big mouth boy. Big jaw boy. What's his name? Vicious Rent boy. What's his name? Dracovish. Dracovish, you're a water dragon? I do know him. Thank you for believing in me, kitty. Legendary water, legendary dragon, legendary rock. Yeah, so no mythicals or paradox. I don't... Are the Regis counted as... What type? Evital is dark. Dark flying? Not mythical, only legend. Are the Regis mythical or legendary? Because they can be caught in the game. So wouldn't Regirock be... Registar Legio? Sending it. So Regirock is locked in for legendary. Legendary Dragon, I'm not particularly concerned. Legendary Water? Oh, it's Kyogre. Kyogre. Easy. He's a water boy. Now, as for dragons, I mean, like... Kirin literally has the word dragon in his name. He must be dragon. He's Dragon Ice. There you go. Now, back to the hardest ones. Ground and water. Brother, that's Wishcash. That's my boy Whiscash. Alternatively, isn't Whooper? Isn't Whooper also, or Quagsire? Aren't they ground water as well? Dragon ground, my boy. Wait, isn't this Flygon? Why is Wishcash ground? He's a catfish. He's a catfish. He's in that muddy water. Kitty, is Flygon ground dragon? I don't know. I feel like I remember being angry that Flygon is not flying type. I think so. Well, rock ground, baby, that's like anything. But I'm gonna put Geodude in there because he's definitely rock ground. Rhydon would have worked as well, by the way. And I'm sending Flygon. I'm sending him to school. Kids always trust your inner anger. I was so angry that Flygon with the word fly is not actually fly type. Oh. Zygarde is ground dragon? Okay. There's literally 3 families, huh? Anyway, kids always trust your wife. It's so true. Oh, I forgot that only Tyranitar becomes dark. It's dark rock. The rest of them are just ground rock. That's so funny. Yeah, and Cabotops and Kabuto were both water rock. And there's only 4 fossil dragons, and 2 of them are from the same game. I think all the fossils are rock type now that I think about it. Oh, I keep forgetting that Suicune is water. I keep thinking Suicune is ice. Palkia is also water. I should have put Ogerpon. I'm such a fake fan. Rayquaza is a dragon. Dude, take away my Rayquaza license, by the way. Next time they catch me writing a Rayquaza, I'm getting sent to prison. There's only 4 Legio rocks, and I named 3? I can't count. Beautiful. And welcome to the last segment of the stream, GameDole.wtf, where we game Dole and then we go WTF. Can I guess a game by looking at the game cover? Isn't this Golem? This is Lord of the Rings Golem. This is the Oblivion remake. It's the Oblivion remake. Shit, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's the Oblivion remake. I would recognize that sword, the tip of that sword anywhere. Dude, get out of here. Get out of here. This game is freaking 120 gigs. I'm not freaking downloading that bullshit. Anyways, can I guess a game by looking at the artwork? This looks very familiar. Why do you have just a type? You're not Owlboy. The color scheme is very bright. Yeah. Oh, Gorm doesn't know. Yeah, they remade Oblivion. They just shadow dropped it. I'm gonna ask for one skip because I really don't know. Okay, you know, I'll just put Owlboy instead. When? Last week. Wait, this is the Pokemon TCG? Pokemon trading card game? Oh. This is Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages! Oracle of Ages! Oracle of Ages! Oracle of Ages. Okay, no. Oracle of Seasons. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. God, could you believe I almost failed this, by the way? Oh my god. I almost... By the way, this art style is iconic, by the way. Also, fun fact, also made by Capcom. That's right, Capcom made the duology on the Game Boy Color of Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Is this a farming Zelda? I mean, every Zelda is a farming game if you like to just kill Octoroks. It's not, by the way. It's a Zelda game. Now, welcome to Guess the Game by guessing keywords. I have been given a list of keywords. Can I guess a game by looking at this? This is, by the way, this is Warcraft 2, by the way. Tides of Darkness.
Bingo! Yeah, that makes sense.
This is why I don't respect streamers.
Hole in One. Maxi, how did you know? How did you know, Maxi? How did you not know? How did you not know? It was Horde, Mining, Sequel, Shaman. That's Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, baby. Welcome to Guess the Game, where we guess the game by guessing the game. I'm not old, says Ronnie. You're old. I'm not old. You're old. As always, I like to guess Nier Replicant because it's one of my wife's and I's favorite games. So this game that we're looking at is after 2010. It is partially single player. It is not fantasy or science fiction or open world or drama or RPG or on the PS3 or Square Enix. I think we should probably get a Nintendo in here just to be sure that, you know, it's nothing crazy. Let's try to cut this right. Let's try to cut this off at Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a game after 2019. It is not Nintendo or Game Freak. It is on the Switch. This game is on the Switch. A 2019 game on the Switch. It's not Nintendo. It must be third party or indie. So I'm thinking Dailies is a racing game. Let me think of a racing game on the Switch. I could guess Mario Kart, but wait, what's the name of the Disney Speedstorm? That's a racing game. It is not racing, sports, or arcade. By the way, yes, I'm the only person who knows about Disney Speedstorm. You're correct. I'm the first person to discover it. It is a game between 2020 and 2022. That wonderful time where 3 years became the one. It's not Gameloft. It is possibly. It has no split screen. It's a game with single player and co-op, no multiplayer, split screen. I'm guessing, by the way. I have no reason to know that. Is it Capcom again? It could be Capcom. It could be Cap God. So not racing, not sports, not arcade, no role playing. Oh, here's all the categories, by the way. Feel free to stop and read. No hack and slash. It could be a strategy game. A third-person strategy game on the Switch? On the Switch? A shooter, perhaps a skitty. That's also fair. A third-person shooter on the Switch released in 2020, between 2020 and 2022. Is it Overwatch 2? It is 2022. It is not Blizzard. It is not a shooter, and it is not strategy. Mario Rabbids, we know that it's not a Nintendo game. The year is 2022. What the hell happened in 2022? Were there any Call of Duties on the Switch? I don't think there were. It's also not a shooter, and it's not science fiction. The themes that remained are action, business, educational, erotic, historical, horror, kids, mystery. There's actually a bunch left. 2022 is a blur. River City Girls. It is a third-person game, not a side-view game. So third-person 2022. Could this be Harvestella, perhaps? No, Harvestella is hack and slash. 2022. Could this be perhaps Hades? No, because Hades is in fact bird's-eye view, not third-person. A third-person, perhaps a platformer? Perhaps a platformer. Perhaps a game like a Sonic. Perhaps a Sonic. Was Sonic Frontiers 2022? I think it was. Bird's eye view is a kind of third person. Yes, but over here they call it isometric / bird view. Okay, so it is not a platformer. It is not Sega. This is we need to nail down the genre, probably. I want it to be Hades, says Gorm. Unfortunately, it's probably not Hades. I'm gonna burn my one-time clue. Simulation Adventure, third person on the Switch 2022. Simulation. Probably one of the many farming sims on the Switch. Farming adventure, what? Kitaria Fables? No, it's not even on here. A farming game on the Switch 2022. Life is Strange? No, that's not simulation. A simulation game, third person 2022. It must be a farming sim. But which one? Perhaps Friends of Mineral Town? No. Farming Simulator 2022. Is farming a genre? It is not a genre. When did Farm Cut Together come out? Ooh. It is not on the list, unfortunately. And Farming Simulator 2020. I mean, I'll send it. Why not? It is in fact not Farming Simulator 2023, because that is only a simulation. We want adventure. That is also 2023, and it's also not business. Oh, we keep forgetting it's a game that has co-op. It must be co-op. Yeah, it's co-op because it's not multiplayer, single player. So it's a single player co-op game. You hit adventure. Oh. Well, it's fine because today we know it is in fact adventure. Don't worry about it, okay? Shut in the Dark. This is Kitaria Fables. I looked it up already. Kitaria Fables is not on here. 2022, a simulation adventure game. Let's go Let's go Pikachu and Eevee was like 2020 or like 2019, wasn't it? It was definitely not 2022. 2022, what farming bullshit were we doing in 2022? Stardew Valley was already way out of... It's also only on the Switch. They're also Nintendo. You're super right. We need a Switch only, or mostly Switch, farming game with adventure elements Is Kinseed on? Kinseed is not on this list, and it's not business. It couldn't be like Moonlighter. Oh, you know what? You know what we do? We try. Wait. Okay, so this gave me a lot more than I thought, and not actually enough. Cult of the Lamb, by the way, it is bird isometric view, so we know now for sure that if it's isometric, or from the point of view of a bird, it is in fact not third person. We have some hints though, so it is in fact it's a comedy. Wait, simulation adventure, comedy simulation adventure, comedy simulation adventure. And it's not, it's indie. A roguelike? Roguelike simulation? A comedy roguelike. Comedy roguelike in third person. What, like, couldn't be Risk of Rain. I have no clue. What a mess. This is a bit of a mess, huh? It's not only sim. It's not only sim and adventure. Oh, you think? Oh, well, it's not tactics, and it's not hack and slash because we know those are gone. So it must be indie. It's not indie. How do you know it's not indie? Oh, it's only sim and adventure. You're so right. So it's not an indie game. A comedy simulation adventure game. I know what it is. If you looked it up, don't tell me. If you have a guess, make the guess. But if you know what if you know 100% what it is, don't tell me. Half the fun is getting there. We still don't even know what the developer is. Or the engine. So it's a relatively big publisher. And it's not a platformer. Simulation? How do you define simulation, Game Doll? Bandai Namco? I guess I could scout for one of the big guys. One of the big guys. I mean, like, Bandai Namco is actually pretty big, but simulation though? What if it's Risa 2? Risa 2 is an RPG. What if it's perhaps Paradox? What if it's a Paradox? But comedy though? Comedy? No, a Paradox game would be historical. Third person no. What? Okay. It's a simulation game that's supposed to be silly. It's a simulation game where you're laughing at the simulation. Perhaps something dumb like a Spore. A simulation game where you're watching your simulated guy just stumble over. One of those South Park games, those are still RPGs though. They have turn-based combat, and they're side view, not third person. What if it's a Rockstar game on the Switch? No chance. It's a game like a Quomp, or like a sports with your friends, where you're just watching your bits flying around, and you're like, haha, it's so funny. It's so funny because weird things are happening. And it has co-op. And it's third person. Simulation is what gets me. To me, this just usually means something like The Sims, where you like have like a guy you control and you feed. Or it's like, it's farming. Or it's just farming. I think I'm gonna try scouting like a Ubisoft for one of like their weird indie games, perhaps. No, it's Bandai Namco. Kitty says, man, we're either gonna feel real stupid or we're gonna feel like we would have never gotten it. Oh, for sure. That's the vibes of this segment, honestly. So I'm gonna scout. My heart is telling me go Bandai Namco. So I'm gonna scout a Bandai Namco game from around this time. Let's go with Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors 8. It's not. I was hoping for I forgot that these guys do. It's Koei Tecmo, actually, not Bandai Namco. Whatever. I'm done. I'm dead. It's over, fellas. I will now. One left. You know what? We can always get it. We can always get it with just one last hit. You know? The only point of HP that matters is the last one, okay? I'm like stepping into my mind's palace. 2022, the year that Overwatch 2 came out, the year that Cult of the Lamb came out, the year that Sonic Frontiers came out. This game might have been on a Nintendo Direct. A simulation game on a Nintendo Direct that was third person. Is this Coral Island?
This is why I don't respect streamers.
Well, Kitty was right. Hey, fellas, thank you for joining me today. I will be streaming this Sunday on Nomia's channel. We'll be playing Monster Hunter World, and then I'll be back next Tuesday with more game design streams. We'll also next Thursday we're beginning Dark Souls 3 with Siska and Plaguesworth. We're going back to co-op. The co-oping together never stops. Dark Souls seamless co-op, that's right. There's a mod where you can play through Dark Souls 3 with your friends. I will be playing a Little Thief. Please be excited for that. Please look forward to that. I would like to very much thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider leaving a like. It actually helps a lot. Just a little thumbs up. And once the VOD is up, please consider leave a 5-star review in the comments as a review of a product you would leave. I think that would be fun, and engagement is really important for a small channel like me. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Beep boop.
Wonderful.